Okay guys, so before we get into the really long video and into the intro, I just want to say there's going to be timestamps in the description to the 4 different games here and to the notes section. So I recommend you watching the intro. This really can be a very valuable session for you guys. It's the longest coaching I've ever done. I'll get you guys into the intro now, but I just wanted to say timestamps in the description. Hey guys, it's Talon. So this is like my longest coaching session I have ever done, and honestly, I think it's pretty interesting. You don't necessarily need to watch all 4 of these games because we go over specific live games with him rather than replays. I think if you guys really want to learn from this, I recommend you especially watching the first game that he plays as Kaisa, and then going to one of the 2 top lane games. Go to either the Mundo, which is the 3rd game, or the Sion is the 3rd game, and then Mundo is the 4th game. And watch those for sure. If you want to watch Seraphine game is the 2nd game that he plays as well. That's probably the least relevant to what we talk about, but still relatively relevant. And then the notes section is what I think you guys can gain a lot from in terms of the perspective of the game that I have. This is a challenger peak player. He's peak grandmaster, but he peak grandmaster when 60 marks was grandmaster and whatever. So like he's been relatively high, and he has a more unique perspective like of the game that he views it. He's kind of a more similar person to me in a lot of ways in how he plays the game. And so we have like a very long conversation about all of these things during the notes portion, especially during because I do some notes in the middle and then I do some more notes afterwards. And so I just recommend you guys, sort of watching that stuff if you really want to understand like how to actually sort of approach Wild Rift as a whole, and like more of like the concept of figuring out what really matters and how I approach all of these types of things. Like I do really feel like if you really watch this video and you take what we said to heart and you apply it to your types of gameplay, however that is, I think that this is a very good way to understand how to differentiate yourself from like a master peak player or whatever to a challenger sovereign player. So again, it's a very long video. It's a little bit all over the place on a lot of the things we talk about, but I think that you guys can gain a lot from it if you do have the time. So I recommend watching that. Then if you're interested in coaching, I do coaching for $15 an hour. Just DM me on Discord, Talon1169. I'm a rank 5 sovereign autofill player, so I can coach you on pretty much anything. And yeah, as always, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get right into it.
Here. So yeah, Seraphine is like I would call her my one trick. I have like a 65-ish win rate on her this season. But unfortunately, this low in Master, she's just not as effective because people will not group on you. The reason Seraphine is so powerful is because when all 5 members are grouped, she gets exponentially stronger. But in low Masters, that just doesn't happen. So I'm probably going to go like either jungle or top.
I do feel like Seraphine's pretty solid right now, honestly, like in a lot of games
All
I
right.
see her in. Like I think honestly, like you should stick to one specific like rule, whatever that is. You choose that,
Yeah.
whatever you're most comfortable with. But I think Seraphine's a solid champion overall.
Oh yeah, no, I do as well. Let's do her then. Yeah. So what I'm coaching wise, during draft and game, let's just walk me through. Like, I'll walk you through what I think of it, like how I think I should approach the game, and let me know if there's anything I need to change about my mindset. And then in game, same, but with like map movements and macro. I am really bad at looking at the map. It's definitely my worst.
Yeah, I'll definitely point that stuff out, and I'll also let you do a lot of the things you would normally do because we can kind of go
Oh
over the
yeah,
replay in more like detail afterwards,
yeah,
So because that's the thing with live. I mean, one is sometimes you might get someone literally run you down like on purpose, or you might not get your roll. There's like various things that can happen, so obviously it's like a little risky in that way. But
that's
if we
true.
get like a proper game, then it's fine. If we get a bad game, we can just go over a second game, like do a second live one, and then just not
Yeah,
go as in depth in like a replay afterwards. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the build that I used with Seraphine is the glacial that's more defensive and focused on healing. Oops, you'll see me in a second. Yeah, so I take tier first, and then I take the cooldown boots, then I build into flowing waters. That's the really big spike with her, because flowing affects the entire team every 6 or so seconds at that
well, you'll have
point.
to ask for roll. Also, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get water real
Oh,
quick, but I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
All right. Honestly, I'm about to do a coaching session for bot. I have experience on bot lane champions, but I don't actually play the role as much, so it'd be interesting.
What role is it in your like queue? Is it 4th or is it what?
It is 4th, yeah. The only one that I just do not play is mid.
Gotcha. Well, you don't have to worry about that. It's the most popular role anyway, so you probably never get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten mid in like the past 20 or so games.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it looks like we'll do AC. So we can probably just do one ADC and one support game and not go as much over the replay. Like we can maybe, if we have time, still go over like some small parts of
Yeah,
the replay because it doesn't have to be exactly an hour. I'm fine with going slightly over.
okay. Let me see what they pick.
I'm not really a fan of Man Immune personally on Kaisa. I think it's like a lot
Not
worse
okay.
than like say the on-hit builds, for example, like the Terminate, like
You-
yeah, the third build is like a
yeah,
lot better, I think.
I'm thinking is we'll figure out boot once we see their picks. Hmm, should be okay. That's actually not bad for me.
I mean, it's mostly early game is very hard here. Like you guys get shit on in early game, so it's mostly about surviving. Like this
Yeah,
matchup.
yeah, I think.
I mean, Kaisa can build anything though. You could build like whatever the fuck you want, and it's fine. The camp is
Yeah,
crazy.
that's true. Yeah, she's insanely powerful, especially if you get a lead early. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead and pick Perseverance. I'm seeing a lot of CC there.
Yeah, that's fine here.
Oh, I need sauce. Realized no one had it.
Yeah, I don't go ghost on ADCs very often at all. Like it's pretty rare. A lot of people like it, but for me, it's just not. It's just like a
Yeah,
lot more risky.
that is true. Especially if I'd gone ghost there, we would have had no exhaust whatsoever. That was my main thought process.
Yeah.
Okay. I generally, in a situation where we have like a big carry like a Lilia, I will take exhaust for her in
You
fights.
should. I always recommend checking jungle pathing already. Like you can, if you click on the left side of
Oh
your
yeah,
screen, like you can check who's spawning on which side. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know how to do that. Like in the middle
I
left of your
so
screen, there's a little
the
icon,
middle left of your screen.
right?
Oh, is it this?
Uh, it's kind of hard to explain.
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that.
Oh,
You
there
can
you go.
see which side of the map you're on. So, like for
Yeah,
here, we think that Lilia, she usually starts blue, so she's probably pathing away from you. You
yeah,
probably don't have to be super worried about anything like that. And then obviously we pay attention to where our jungle starts. Nunu could start either way, but if we do see Nunu start her blue, then we're gonna want probably start trading around like level 2, level 3, and like having some prio there to sort of
yeah,
have good ways to like set up and trade more aggressively. But if she's pathing away from us, because the matchup is losing for us, we just want to play like really safe and farm.
yeah.
We also have
Exactly.
a diamond pike, so we're
Yeah,
probably
I was
expecting
about
it to
to
be
say
harder.
we play safe and farm, but I don't know if the pike is going to
Yeah, it's
follow along
always
with that.
dependent
But
on him.
honestly,
If he does some stuff, we gotta follow, but yeah, it just depends.
yeah.
Did you go with the attack speed dagger? Is that really better for Kaisa? I mean, I don't feel like
So
the
for
AD would be better.
so yeah, but specifically it's because I like to play around procking her passive, getting all four of them in. So I like
I don't know
attack
if we're gonna be able
her.
to do that in this matchup. So like what I've like if I'm in like a matchup I can
Oh,
all
no,
in,
like
it's fine, but I don't
if
know. It's not
if
the end
pike
of the world
doesn't
though. Preference, I guess.
yeah, it's just personal preference. Yeah, because I'm not going to be trading unless pike actively.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What would you recommend doing with the wave? Just letting it push into me?
Yeah, you pretty much just let it push in, but the only problem is like if they start pushing hard, you want to try to get it frozen under your tower because you want it to be hard for Thresh to get a good level 2 like punish on you. That's the
Yeah.
main thing. So like even here you would have probably wanted to walk up and just stop it a little bit. Just so
Oh,
that
okay.
yeah, like this, because now he can't really pressure you very hard because he's all gonna play around level 2 and you see how now he can't really get it and then you get level 2. So now you should instantly hit it because you want level 2 really fast. So you should have been hitting that minion earlier and then playing
Gotcha.
around level 2. And then your jungler's here for some reason, so. Flashing, I would just take E
Yeah,
instead
that
of
was
second
a
there.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was too aggressive of me. I assumed that he was going to hit the snowball, but he just ran right past them.
Yeah, it's fine. Now just try to push the way lane and then probably recall soon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like push as fast as
Actually,
you
we
can.
have
Just
fun.
keep hitting it. Just keep hitting it. Because it's already gonna push naturally, you want it to not be here for as long as possible.
Yeah. Oh, this is a kill. We're good. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, double. That's
Ideal.
that was
Again, we think Lilia's pathing away, so you can do it. Like you can get this wave.
okay.
But then you obviously gotta leave right away. So yeah, like the main thing there is definitely like that's how you gotta manage a wave, especially into really aggressive champs who will play for level 2. And then you just should have played a little harder for that level 2 when it came. Like you should have just tried to get an isolated Q on a singular minion. Because then you can
Yeah,
actually have that one like pressure point in lane. And then obviously our
that makes
jungle
sense.
plays, you could have gone E second just to have a better follow up with our jungle, but
Yeah. Okay, looks like we should be good on AP.
Lilia will be coming here now, so you gotta kind of chill.
But yeah, no, after I get those kills, I'm just gonna farm.
Yeah,
Like, the
it's
fact
pretty
that
much
let
like
me
once
get-
you hit Terminus, then you start having another like aggressive phase here.
Yeah.
But you do have like decent control over the wave, so you can hit it pretty fast. Like it's fine to hit and get prio. You just have to be like very aware of Lilia and just not making any too aggressive thing. Like even here, just try not to.
Yeah, it's like exactly.
Even if Pyke does die in this lane, you're still gonna be in a lead, so like we're fine. And then Nunu's coming again, so I just start pushing the lane pretty hard.
Okay.
And then you can just start either taking another recall for your BF sword, or you can just go for vision. Like either's really fine.
Oh, thank you. It's a kill. Oh, back.
You can probably outplay this.
Oh, as long as he doesn't have to hit. Oh,
Perfect.
I appreciate the time and that was
Yeah, I mean,
worried.
the Pyke's not playing bad. You can get one plate and then recall. We don't
Okay.
want to overstay because they'll come. Like, you could squeeze 2 plates, but you shouldn't because then they'd come and get control over the wave, whereas if you do it this way, you still get time to recall. Like, Pyke's making the mistake, for example, and a lot of people do that.
I'll think, oh, the plates are worth so much gold, it's better to just stay. Yeah, that makes sense to quicker.
It's because, yeah, then they'd get a plate back if we stayed for an extra plate anyways, and then they also get control over the wave, whereas if it happens this way, you're literally losing, like, no minions. It's just, like, a lot better in that sense.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to need some form of armor penetration for Urgot and Yasuo. They're going to be obnoxious.
I mean, your champ with, like, Riftmaker later will just be able to melt anyway. Like, I don't really think you need pen necessarily.
Oh, so you do recommend me going the AP build this game?
No, you're just going to go just Riftmaker, like, 3rd or 4th. Apart from that, you're just going to go on hit.
With normal on hit. Okay.
Like, that's going to be true damage, and that's going to make it really easy for you to... And your build melts 2 tanks anyways. Urgot's going to go Heartsteel, and you can probably even go play the Rune King, or even you don't use Terminus still fine and gives mixed damage. But
if it's necessary, like if Urgot gets really ahead, I'll absolutely build it.
And then if he gets like a ton of stacks, but yeah, you don't need to do that to like 3rd or something. Again, recall because the dragon spawning, and again, they're going to be coming soon, so even if you get 1 plate, we don't actually care. Because then, like, that's when they can stick you in lane, and then that's when you can throw your lead by possibly getting caught by a random Lilia showing up or a flash hook from Thresh. Like, that's how a game like this goes bad, when otherwise it'd be going really well. And then, yeah, I just pop your thingies, like, the slow, to try to find their jungle if he is here. But, yeah.
I think that's pretty unnecessary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the ult's not necessary because even, like, again, at this point, the kind of thing that's important to understand is kills actually don't matter that much more for you at this point. You have such a big lead that as long as you're just, like, safely farming up, it's mostly what, like, you can go plates here, no one's here. You get, like, 3 free plates. Yeah. You don't have to recall for Kaisa or for Xayah this time because Thresh is literally not here. So you just stay on the turret and pretty much get the entire turret. And then we can see Urgot, it looks like, is getting a pretty big lead, so that's going to be something, probably Runance and then Blade of the Rune King and then Riftmaker, I would say.
I'm keeping an eye out for Lilia, just because she can catch me off guard with her speed.
Yeah. You can greed this, you can get this. We see Lilia mid. I mean the turret, but... Yeah, you just hit the turret there.
That was
just recall after the wave for sure, yeah. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. I think if you can get your support to go with you to top lane, that's the ideal move. You push this wave, so you have a lot of time to make a play somewhere else. You should ping really aggressively, attack top, and then just try to go. I'd go Rune on second, but I mean, if you want Nashers, I guess you can.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that.
Because again, we're trying to get as much gold on ourselves as possible, which is why, like, I'd rather go to the top side. Like, even there, I'm pretty sure you could still go top side with them, and just, like, I don't know how much health
they're going.
Yeah, you can go for it, that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. Okay. I just completely wasted my spells there.
That's fine. Go mid wave and then go back to bot now, because now the bot wave's coming, so you want to go on the bot wave now. Because again, it's about creating that timer to roam, but once the wave is like back, then you kind of need to not waste too much time. So like even now, just leave and go bot. Like, we should have been quicker about being able to go back to bot, because again, like, the goal when you have that lead is to push an additional wave by getting on a wave as soon as it meets, and then using that time to have a lot more time to rotate. But once it's starting to come
that helps.
back, you need to be there so you don't lose too much or bleed too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I recognize now that I was just hitting them when that's
Yeah.
not getting me.
And again, like, obviously the flash into Urgot ulting, I mean, you know, in hindsight, it's obviously a little too aggressive of a flash. Even here, the wave is not coming for a long time. You don't, like, you can look at your own wave to see it. It's going to be a while away. I'd rather just follow up with our pike, and then even here, again, that wave's pretty far up, and you don't have flash, so, like, don't go for it till it comes back towards the midpoint. The main goal is to hit Runons before the dragon, and villain. You can probably pressure mid turret here. They're all going top, so.
Yeah,
and then just Yasuo will come through the bot side, so hover towards the top side. But that's it. Yeah, just push mid wave, then go towards top side again. It's all about like pushing the wave as quick as possible and then making these different plays. Because now, no, go top, go top. Dia has to clear, and then you have an additional person here. And basically every play is based around the wave, so go top side. You just gotta kill, there's nothing else to do. You might as well get as much gold out of this as possible. No one's gonna ever kill you here. Get this wave, the next wave that comes, and then recall. Okay. You have to squeeze gold when you have this big of a lead, especially if someone on your team is doing poor, because it's not gonna be completely free even if you are ahead a lot.
Yeah, because someone else is gonna be doing something similar on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
like do this, grab the scorpion, then just
Scorpion.
I wouldn't prioritize Scorpion over getting last hit. Not the end of the world, but...
I was worried about that.
Yeah. I mean, you have a full wave and all, like, you'd still be chill.
And then Masher's here?
I'd do Riftmate, or Blade of the Rune King, I think. Because he's pretty fed the Urgot.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even check that.
Yeah. Just
evolve
and focus on the fight. That top wave is the one time we can ignore it because there's an objective, so... Yeah, make sure you evolve your E, obviously.
Is E my projectile or is it my invisibility?
Third ability. You only go W evolve, second ability evolve when you're full AP.
Yeah. That is actually my favorite build on him. That's the one that I learned for Nice. So done with me. I didn't recognize
the main thing is you were just autoing into a wind wall for a long time when you could have just repositioned towards your tanks. Like that's the main part about the fight.
Yeah, sorry. I'm really bad with recognizing wind walls. But
it's
like
hard to see. It is a weird ability. Blade of the Rune King, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank you for the reminder. Sorry.
You're good.
Anything. So Urgot does not have Heartsteel.
Yeah, he doesn't. I didn't even notice the specific build. It's still really good for killing him though. He's still very tanky. Like they're still tanky teams, so it's still good into all of them.
And I'm also gonna need a little extra healing because he has slow now.
Yeah, and then Riftmaker after that will help you shred towards these tanks with who have a lot of armor, because Urgot and Thresh have a lot of armor. So like 4 items is your main goal. You're gonna have to carry like the later parts of the game. So again, just mostly focus on farming. And once you have an opportunity for the mid turret, we're gonna want to try to get it. We can't get it now, but like we should at some point probably have a time to get it. Don't go sweeper ever again, by the way, on an ADC. Like always, just get wards.
Always get wards. Okay.
It's just way easier in terms of protection. Like this way, the way you're doing it, you need to face check a push to get vision, which is just a lot scarier. It's not the end of the world when something like that happens.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
it's not like it didn't happen during the objective. Like if Baron had actively been up, then I would have been a little more concerned, but nothing happens here. I'm just gonna keep A-ramming. I think Urgot. Okay, he doesn't have a third item yet. Lillian's scared.
So.
I actually, after getting Bork, I might just go Wit's End for Lilia. I might need some magic resist against that.
I mean, the problem is you're like the carry of this game, and
you're
not going to be able to kill the tanks without Riftmaker. So we really need Riftmaker.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms of like survivability, but I do need to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, you have so many ways to survive as a champion. You need to play these fights a bit better in terms of position.
god. It's worth for me to.
I think you probably just try to recall.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna get this cancer played.
Yeah. Main thing is, I think you need to use third ability for Lilia, because she's the only one who doesn't need to be dodged by something other than movement speed, and then you need to be ulting, like, once a wind wall comes up, and then you need to have your flash for something like Thresh going on you, or like an Urgot dashing onto you. Like, that's like the main usage of these different, like, things, and then probably grab stasis after Blade of the Rune.
Yeah.
You are pretty fed.
Yeah, I can afford to do that.
Yeah, don't really walk up on the wave without a tank or someone with you. And ward towards topside, since that's probably where an objective's like up for a while. I don't know when exactly ocean's spawning, probably in like minutes, but
okay.
So you don't really need like wards around that side more. You need more wards around like topside bushes or other things like that.
I wish I could get it.
We should have been on this mid turret first. Just ward the like. I didn't mean you literally have to like start walking ward. Like you want to again play towards a wave and then do it afterwards. But you can probably get a kill here.
Yeah, because if we can get a kill,
I used to thank you.
Happening.
Fun.
Yeah, I apologize. Late game macro is just not something that I.
You gotta get out. Just go bot quick towards mid rather, but. Unfortunate Carnival collapse. I mean, again, it's like I feel like we can just play a bit further behind our
yeah,
tanks.
I can recognize it. I can recognize that was definitely my fault for staying and fighting as opposed to going and farming elsewhere.
Yeah. I mean, again, a lot of these team fighting things aren't like as much what should be worried about. Again, it's a lot of controlling like waves and then making the plays you're making, whereas like a lot of the plays you're kind of taking fights when waves are neutral, which then just means like it's easier for them to walk in, where you can get a lot more vision of the dangerous champions on the team if you're just playing around these waves first. Like you could have played again around the mid wave before going for that vision, which obviously I didn't make entirely clear to you. And then
I should have been doing that.
Yeah, and then we can rotate for the vision after because it's a lot safer. And then you also
Would you
just
recommend
stayed around a little longer. What's up? No, don't go top. Again, objective is what matters here. They're not gonna like end the game through top. The way they'll win is a lot more likely around an objective. I mean, you might just have to give this depending on what happens with your team, but you pretty much just follow what they do. I mean, that fight was pretty well played by you. That's a harder one.
Yeah, I definitely need. I'm starting to lose the edge that I had in terms of my gold because I've only gotten the Fiendish Codex in the past like 5 minutes. So I
guess started just taking a lot of fights around like objectives that weren't really like there weren't objectives or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or just things that don't matter, and then we focus less on farming. And again, like we recognize that the Rift Maker was a big power spike for you because that's when you can start killing these champs with a ton of armor. So I think a larger focus on that probably the main thing. I think in general, like thinking more about sort of the like things that will actually progress the game rather than just kind of making plays based on what we see. Like
rather than like going by feel.
Yeah, even if I'm thinking about the level 2 thing where I was saying like again the focus, the reason that you're managing your wave that way makes sense is because Thresh's biggest power spike in the entire game is level 2. And it's like playing around these different strengths are what matter, and I feel like we're just playing more around the feel of the thing.
Yeah. That's a concept. I think I might go top next game. So I feel that's a concept that I'm much more capable with when it comes to Sion. No.
I mean, you have to follow if they're fighting like this.
Oh, actually, I think. Yeah.
Oh, waves, just waves. Yeah. The other waves too are more bored.
Oh. Actually, these waves, the super minions are not necessarily bad. Bad for me because
I mean, it'll be really bad for in a minute for you.
Yeah,
because the Elder is gonna spawn. I don't have. Can you get to Riftmaker? I don't know what your gold is, or is it not? Yeah, you can. So yeah, Riftmaker here, it's possible to win. Just be really aware of, again, use your E for Lilia, use your flash for probably an Urgot or Thresh engage, and use your ult to reposition around a wind wall, and then that's how you're going to have to carry this fight.
Yeah.
Again, go mid wave, because this top wave's already in a fine spot and it's not getting pushed in. You need to make sure these other waves are pushed.
Where would you recommend?
You need to hover towards bot side with your team. You're too far up here. Like, nobody's here. Don't walk up without your team. And again,
Right.
yeah, once your pike goes, try to get a ward in that bot side bush. And then control the mid wave. You have flash, so you can go with your pike there. I guess the fight's going, so go here.
What they do?
Again, remember, the objective's important, so if nothing happens, just quickly go towards the bot again.
Yeah.
Yeah, just ping your team retreat and go towards bot. Because again, do you see you're not getting control of the mid wave, and now it's pushing on your nexus? What is more of the worry.
I should have been hitting that.
Yep.
I was too busy focusing on. Yeah. Again, same problem.
Wait till wind wall's out to really do something.
Okay.
I mean, you pretty much just have to hope your teammate hits this flip and play off it.
Yeah, that's definitely my bad. I was playing way too passive there. I was playing way too like scared and defensive, retreating back.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, again, I don't think that's the issue. I think, again, the first issue is that all of your setups are really hard because you're not controlling the waves. So like here, you have to walk into everyone with your team being in a weird spot. And part of it's your team not setting up properly too, but you didn't ping like at all. And then you didn't control the wave to make it easier for your team to walk in and to get vision of the enemy. And then again, you can't play aggressive in that fight. You walked up further than a lot of your other frontline were. And you walked up, we talked again about the spells. Thresh didn't use anything. And then once Thresh walked at you, you didn't instantly flash. You let Thresh flay you and then you flashed and you got half health. When we're talking about that, we should be aware of that spell being in existence, and same with the Urgot. So until you see those engages come out and then you flash those, then you can go aggressive, right? And then you have your ult to reposition the wind wall. But none of those things were what we did. We just kind of played the fight. Like,
yeah, exactly. I wasn't looking at the entire fight. I was looking at a little corner of it. Like I wasn't taking in the what's it called? I wasn't looking at the bigger picture. I was just doing what felt right in the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, ADC is not your main role, so what's important more for you to gather from that is to understand how an ADC will feel playing. Are you going to play support or top? You said you wanted to maybe top. Which you prefer?
I have the queue to support top jungle, like in
You're
order
guaranteed support, so you'll get support, yeah. But
perfect.
What we have to understand then, from an ADC's perspective, what's actually important for you to gain there is not like the mechanical part of the fight, because you're not going to be an ADC main. What's important to understand is like, you need to think about those things, and then as the support or as the Sion, you need to do what you can to eliminate one of those factors. For example, you can walk in front of Thresh, hook, so then he can't hook. You can, be in a way where that's impossible to happen. Or for Urgot to dash, he has to dash through you. So both of those things that were the two things we said you might need to flash, now your teammate doesn't have to flash those. So if your teammate's flashless, it doesn't matter, for example, or if your teammate can then, because he's probably not going to be thinking about all these things a lot of the time, he'll now have his flash for him, maybe if he fucks up in some other way. So keeping track of whoever your strength is, maybe your strength is an Orianna, or maybe it's anyone, right?
But keeping track of my strength,
that
that is the reason that I'm pretty good with Seraphine, is because she's able to support everyone with her movement speed. The fact that she can go flowing, she can go ardent, like she's so flexible with supporting whoever the carry is.
Yeah. And again, I think the weakness from your team fighting part of gameplay is the same that I have as a player, which is I'm much better at ability based champions. Like when I play auto attackers, you have to think about all those things I spoke about, and it's harder for me too to do. And then I see you kind of getting overwhelmed by that type of thing. So I mean, I think it seems like maybe your style fits more with Seraphine or something.
Yeah, I don't think I actually have any auto attackers as my mains. I mean, the closest that would come to is Shyvana, but she's completely different.
That's obviously because you're tanky as hell, so it's not the same type of. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm the same way. Well, Jace, Varus are my main squishy champs that I play. So I don't really play stuff like that. I mean, I've played plenty of games with them. I have 400 or 500 Kaisa games, but it's never the stuff I do the best on. And it is good to play around what actually works for you as a player. So I mean, you said Seraphine's your highest win rate, so that's what should be focused on. I think the main things again for you to gain based on that are the first thing we talked about in terms of the perspective of the ADC, but also understanding what's going to progress the game. Again, thinking about that Thresh thing is one thing that I think you probably wouldn't have been thinking about with the wave management.
But yeah,
That's
that
something
legitimately would not have crossed my mind.
yeah,
It's
and then
like,
that
like,
ended up,
yeah.
in hindsight, obviously leading to the early double kill because of just all of these factors. Whereas like sometimes people don't think about it, and then they get flash hooked on level 2 and they die insta, and it's like you
Yeah.
just always have to put. In general, I think the main thing is you need to think about the perspective in a larger way because, like, of everyone else's perspective, because you're a high enough elo player that you understand the champions you're good at, you understand the game to a pretty good degree. So now it's about trying to think about like the game as a whole rather than just your individual game
Yeah.
and what feels good.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, for example, like when I see the enemy AD carry and I recognize that I recognize they do need to be pushing waves. That's
Yeah.
really good information to know because then I have knowledge as to what they'll do. And having that is, yeah.
Like for example, if we want to think about this lane matchup, how do they win the lane matchup? How does the lane matchup work for you? Like what does each lane want to do to you?
Yeah, so this matchup, they're just gonna try to farm. They're gonna try to out heal us probably. Varus is just gonna keep poking and poking. I'm fine with that. I'm gonna go bone plating here. I don't think. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go perseverance. I'm just gonna go defensive build. Do we have exhaust? We do not have exhaust. Perfect. All right. This is
Yeah.
actually Lee Sin is actually one of my better matchups because the build that I go is surprisingly hard to kill. If we're even, if he gets really ahead, it's a Lee Sin who's super fed. But if we're even, he will try to dive me and then generally get killed by my team. Like
Yeah,
this
and I'm
happens.
assuming you're gonna rush anti-heal too as Aatrox or Soraka,
Yep,
so
yep. No, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go first recall anti-heal just because, like you said, they all heal.
yeah, and I mean
Even
what matters for the first recall anti-heal is only your direct lane, which is a
yeah.
healer, but say that your direct lane was not Soraka and then they just had healing
Oh
topside,
yeah.
you'd probably wait until you're out of lane to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, in a situation like that, I would generally take it after I get my boots, after I
Yeah.
have boots, and after I have a stacking tier, because at that point I can afford to delay flowing for
Yeah.
like 900 gold.
And then you should also check the pathing again, because this is a Lee Sin, we have to be very aware of this type of pathing.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I have a pretty good amount of experience into
You need
this
to check where
matchup.
you are on the map though, what I'm saying.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because
I
okay, so he's gonna
apologize.
start red. He's gonna path towards you most of the
Yeah,
time. Obviously
so,
not always,
yeah,
but we expect probably he's gonna path towards us. So then
yeah,
we're already in a losing matchup. Varus is a much better early game champ than
yeah,
um Barry,
yeah,
and you also need to target Soraka in this matchup because she wants to heal her Varus but she can't heal herself. So make sure
yeah.
your damage is mostly focused on Soraka whenever possible. And make sure you're very aware of the fact that Lee Sin will path towards you early. So if you are able to
Thank,
get prio, then go for the ward. But yeah.
yeah. With this matchup, I do have those kinds of. I am aware of all of
Yeah,
that.
and
Thankfully,
you can push if you want level 1 because like they're
yeah.
not like that scary level 1. Level 2 is when Varus can start to all in. So level 1's fine. Don't group on your teammate either. Cover the right side bush rather. Yeah. You don't want to be grouped next to your teammate because it's easier for him to.
Yeah, keeping it both.
Yeah. But as long as you control this wave and then you can use. The reason that I wouldn't want you to ward level 1 is because we know we could possibly get prio in this lane, and then if you were able to, you see how right now you have so much time to go ward their blue buff, and then you get perfect vision of his.
You are so right. You are so right. I didn't think of that. I
Okay, so we
generally
just see that he went blue side first, and now he's doing some weird shit. I don't know what he's doing, but he's probably not pathing towards us. But he's also one of those weirdly sins he's gonna gank all the time, as we can already see from this weird play. So you could always expect that. But he's only really a danger for the next 30 seconds, and then unless he's the worst player on the planet, he's not gonna be here for another minute. So you can play more aggressive than this. You need when your teammate's walking up, you need to be on a parallel line with him and try to trade like with him. Like you're standing really far back compared to him. And then take control of the bushes more often, because again, as a supporter, like you want to be controlling these bushes a lot.
Yeah.
Like even here, stop hovering here, just go towards the bottom side. And don't, this is the exact reason you don't want to take that if it's free like that, is because if you get this one, it's really bad compared to if your teammate got it. But
Oh, you're right.
if it's like contested, then it's fine to take it, but it was a free
Yeah.
one for you
In like a
guys.
neutral situation, I should just always give it to him.
And again, just keep this pressure in lane. If you keep them under tower, they can't poke you. Again, hover the bush. There's no reason for you not to be in the bot side bush right now. It's just easier to land your spells too. Like people lacked object permanence in this game. You see, like it's like you disappeared in the screen because they're just idiots. So like, but again, we're focusing Varus too. Remember, Soraka is the one who really matters.
Yeah.
And push the wave and then recall. Push the wave really quick and then recall, because we're at a good recall timer at this point where your teammate's gonna hit boots. Push it as fast as you can and then just try to recall. because we have a decent amount of gold and we're low mana, so we'd rather just get recalled as fast as possible. There's, again, Lee is not here. There's no way they're ever killing you here. It doesn't matter if you take damage. It matters that you're pushing the wave as fast as possible. Recall immediately. Just ping. If your teammate goes forward and he dies, that's his fault. He has flash, so he won't. And I'm cutting you off just because these are the things that we need to think about while we're playing, rather than whatever it was that we were going to talk about, but I apologize for cutting you off still.
You're okay. See, top is struggling. He's 600 gold behind, so Aatrox is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this all depends on who groups where for the first objective fight, because that's always a toss-up with this rank. Like, if we are able to get a dragon with Aatrox trying to push top, and Darius is actually, like, able to find an opening to come.
Yeah. And again, keep in mind, Lee will now start being here again. It was about a minute since last time we know that he moved to top side, so he'll probably be towards bot side. Which he is.
I messed that up.
Fun. But yeah, if we are more aware of that, you'd be able to get the exhaust about a lot quicker, and you could have just CC'd him quicker, so it's some things, but probably go towards mid for now. Your teammate's dead. You might as well hover somewhere else just while you have the time.
Yeah, I generally will try to soak up other waves if I can. Let's see what Lee's doing. Oh, I would have.
You should help him push this next wave so he has a timer to roam with you.
Yeah. Oh, yes, please. You got this. You got this.
Good.
And then what? Oh, okay, that works.
Yeah, I think you can just take a recall and go bot side. Again, like, you're low mana, and once a play like this happens, there's no danger, so it makes sense to just get a recall off.
Yeah, I also need to.
Okay, cool.
Okay, now.
Very good value from the roam, and that's exactly what we need to do when our ADC dies or recalls or something like that, is just try to find an impact in other parts of the map, so good.
Yeah.
Again, I honestly think, like, you can probably just go back mid here. Your Zeri's not really going to do anything, so you might as well take control of the wave that matters more.
Yeah, let's see. Speaking of, let's look at our player. Definitely looking at Jungle as someone that I can work pretty well with.
Yeah.
He also is such a pain.
Try to push this wave really quickly with him. Also, don't ward a bush like that. You'd rather ward an actual objective or over the wall of an objective to get better vision. This vision doesn't really do much for us. And again, wherever your jungle goes is where you need to start hovering. So just look where he goes after this and then go towards the same place.
Okay, these.
Yeah, go bot side. Look. Bot side. Again, your TF was TPing on someone, and your jungler is anyways hovering here. So I think you need to utilize bushes a lot more, and, like, again, bot side right now. Like, stop trying to fight a mid wave by yourself. Play around where your actual teammates are going. I just think, like, the main thing is the awareness of what our teammates are actually doing on the map and being a lot quicker about moving. Because, like, it doesn't matter if you're controlling that mid wave by yourself with support item. Like, we just want to be there as an addition or hovering a bush or other things like that. Yeah, just keep hovering bot here. You probably can, like, one shot, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, he knows. Lucky. Don't waste all your spells helping him clear it. You'd rather have those in case the enemy walk forward or something for better pressure.
You're right. So the reason I do is I have to cycle them through to get my my tier stacks effectively. Otherwise, I won't.
Sure, that's fair enough.
And I did intentionally go for that kill there because I can hit a threshold here if I'm able to get the extra gold. If I can actually directly recall into Archangels, that's way better. But it's also, I usually can't do it. But there,
you should just recall right now. Like, there's no wave to really play around, and you want to go towards mid here anyways. So we'd rather just do this. Again, like, after, I think that's one thing as well. Like, after plays are happening, being really quick about our decision making, my opinion, is just something that we should be doing more frequently. It's like really what the hell? For me, it's just all about, like, you're very, like, slow in some of the decision making, so you're just wasting some time in terms of, like, you're staying around mid too long when there's no longer a possibility for a play, or that Kaisa game when you were hitting people in mid when you should be going bot, or, like, all these things. It's just, we're just more efficient with our, like, rotations. They're the main things in playing around our teammates. Again, like, I would go even, I guess you can stop the wave. Yeah, that's fine. You can start walking up your teammates.
Yeah.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can go towards top side, I think. Like, you have a little bit of a timer where Aatrox is dead, so you might as well help the teammate here.
Oh.
Yeah. Going back mid once that happens is fine, but
Oh, we recommend going back mid. Okay.
just so the wave doesn't die. Like the main thing here, like, is protecting the turret, just in case. But
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. That wouldn't have been the decision I made, but it's the right one. Okay, I can just flash ultimate here, but we're not close enough.
I
My
don't think
team's
it's. You only have one person here, and I don't think he has very much damage at all right now.
Zeri have let their strength.
Also, when is objective spawning? Because you don't want to waste flash ult depending on the timer of it.
Yeah, I would have enough, but they'll
Flash
probably
wouldn't
not
come up, but your ult would be back up. So
Yeah. Is there a place you would recommend that I ward now?
I mean, you should ward bushes like this when you're hovering mid a lot, just like either kind of bush or over the wall on an objective, or on a camp rather. Like any of those are fine. But once an objective's coming, like your next word should be on like an objective or over a wall of an objective. So again, we should just push one wave and then look for a recall right after, because we're kind of low mana. We're not very strong here.
Yeah,
You probably just give the turret. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, just in case.
Just get the wave really quick and then recall.
Go stuff. Fires. Yeah. I'm so sorry. The hell my phone just died. There we go. Okay, I'm glad that wasn't right before an objective. That was embarrassing. Okay. Lee is like barely ahead, but not unstoppable. Let's see.
Yeah, and the main thing is keeping track of wind wall, because obviously that's like very dangerous. But apart from that, once the wind wall's out, you're pretty much just looking for pretty straightforward ultimate on a lot of aggressive champions.
Yeah.
And now wind wall's out, so.
Yeah. Oh.
Nice.
Nice. Oh.
Yeah, I think you can pretty much just hover here and you're to get the objective for free at this point.
Yeah. I still have to. Oh.
Whoa. Oh.
No. I don't.
That worked. I literally thought your TF was the enemy, and I was like, what is he doing? And I realized it's your TF. Again, just hover the mid wave. Like, I don't really think you're killing anything here.
But I mean, I feel like going dragon is better, right? Because my jungle's already started it.
Yeah, I would hover mid wave really quickly. It would take you 2 seconds, your Seraphine, to kill the mid wave, and you just go here right after.
So I should have passed down through mid to dragon instead of just taking the hex gate.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as always. Yeah, like you're not controlling the waves. You're kind of just going for a fight first. Everything is based around the waves. Like the waves give you more vision of the enemy because they'll walk to try to clear it. Then you get to see them. It's easier to walk in. Yeah, so like that's been probably 3 or 4 times that we should have just done that. And when you're Seraphine mid game, even if you're support, you can take the waves. It's not the end of the world. And if your carry's right on the wave, you can let them get it. But otherwise, like, it's fine. Then yeah, even just take the bot wave for your item like you're going to do. And then now we'll start hovering top/mid side because the Baron's the next objective that's up. So again, that's now where we want to start setting up our vision. So like the main thing for when you're warding is basically around wherever an objective is going to hover is where you decide which side you're warding on, and then just recall. You don't need to help them on it, like this wave, for example. This is like, these are the times where since you hit your spike anyway, you might as well recall and start going towards the side of the map that matters, because if your teammate does die, it literally doesn't matter. So.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Twisted Beta's death count. That's going to be a large amount of birth. Should be able to one-shot Soraka if you can find an angle. You haven't done that. Would have been bad.
Go back towards mid wave probably now. Again, going the wave.
Thinking about the fight, I need to focus on the waves.
It was fine to hover like you did, just once the Aatrox used flash and got away then.
I wish I had flash. Oh. Okay. So,
probably have followed up and like hovered them. But...
Okay. Should I go bot here? Keep pushing in mid.
No, see again, this is what I just told you about the words. Why'd we word bot? What's the objective that's up the top side?
You're right. You're right. That was.
It's fine though. Control mid wave first again. Mid wave, then we do what we want to do. So here you kind of want to recall. You're not the best health, so you would get the mid wave and then immediately recall.
Okay.
And then after you recall, you'll probably go through another wave, and then you'll go for a word. I mean, here, obviously, we end up seeing something develop, so then it's obviously perfectly fine to go like this.
Yeah. Help isn't a factor because none of them seem to be interested in engaging on me. Death was so far, and it looks like it'll be the same so long as Lee doesn't get me.
Yeah, again, I think just mid-wave and then look for a recall. Nothing's really gonna happen.
Yeah. Try it.
I respect it.
That was very dumb. No. Yeah, that
Not
was
really. You do like the objective spawning in a minute. Like you're just trying to get a random catch so that you can possibly get Baron. Like it's fine to waste stuff like that when you're looking for a random catch to get Baron when nothing else is gonna happen. So it's like
yeah,
really
that's
fine.
definitely my at late game. Late game, I'm pretty good at just getting like random flash ultimates on people.
Yeah.
Rocket. I think I might. So is it ever worth it to upgrade to Moral Novicon, whatever the green book?
Not
Or do you
really
just
until like a late item.
okay? I should focus on waves, right?
No, like here mid-wave. No. Again,
Okay.
the waves and the vision that matters for a support, like your goal is not to get 1 billion gold. Obviously, you want to have gold. Your goal is to the reason we're controlling the waves is to get control over an objective. It's not for you to get as fed as possible. Even here, you don't need to hover by yourself as a squishy champion who's really low health. It's more about controlling it with your team, especially as support. But like again, the vision. Now we're gonna start controlling bot wave because, or like mid wave, but going into bot. You should recall right now, unless maybe you have item. I guess if that's the case.
I have item. I have item soon. Yeah, if I'm gonna get Archangels, and that's a huge spike against Least.
Yeah, you need to get that really quick because it's still scary for you, and then the objective soon.
Yeah, that was true.
I don't think you're going to be able to get it. I mean, I guess you just have to hover for the fight at this point. Just get control over the bot side. This is Soul, so it pretty much just matters about finding a...
Yeah, if I had recalled beforehand, then
yeah, they might be on the Baron.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to follow Baron.
At this point, I have to go along with the flow. Like if there's a group of people...
Yeah. Control mid and then go for the Soul. It's pretty fine to do this. Like, even though they get Baron, it's not the end of the world as long as you get the Soul. And just wait till your team actually has a way to follow up to get like a good ult on.
Yeah.
It should still be fine as long as you're able to wave clear and just focus. Again, just recall, bro. You're like...
Oh, that was a miss.
Okay.
Miss input, but I can turn it into a kill.
Yeah, we'll take it. You're a genius. What did IQ?
I mean, the reason my win rate is probably so high is because I do make a lot of these very, like, not well thought out tactical decisions, but I also know her abilities well enough that I can generally just find an angle. Like Lee engaging on me is the best thing that can happen in this game because he can't kill me and I can always CC him.
Yeah. And especially when you have flash up and stuff like that.
Yeah. And now we get to the point where I'm really confident.
Yeah, you can just wave clear and then you guys are really strong with Soul, so now pretty much just the Elder fight is a win con. But again, the main thing for you is controlling the waves of something that matters. For example, like now, I don't know the timers. I think Baron will probably be spawning first, so you're probably going to want some vision around the Baron side of the map, or more focus on that.
I am going to recall for ward if I can, if they want to get...
It's fine for you to sweep and just deny their vision. Like, you can do that as support. That's not that bad.
Yeah, can't save you. Sorry.
It's fine. Just don't overforce this. Just make sure you don't die and that you're up for wave clear. Like, your team dying is not the end of the world, but the only problem is if you guys somehow all die. So just really make sure that you're not dying no matter what.
Yeah, as long as I'm not dead, we should be fine. I'm just going to stay far back.
That's crazy, Dan.
Oh my god,
That's
that was... Oh, it's so tilting for him.
Nice.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Might be able to end mid if they get another kill. Nah, you can't.
It
It looked like someone else would die, but
I'm
it's fine. Yeah, just top wave. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, at this point, I think, let me see, items wise. Sure.
If you have the gold to finish Morello's here, it's like a fine time to do it because they are really heavy healing. So I'm pretty sure 1700 is how much.
1700 on the dot.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
1200, so. Must have had an extra book. Oh, I don't know why you stopped your recall again.
Sorry, I again that was a missed input.
Yeah, not the end of the world.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm a little nervous. I don't typically play on calls with people.
Yeah, you should be nervous. I'm judging you really hard.
No, as you should be. I want you to
That was
judge me.
sarcasm.
Wrong. I know.
Yeah.
You're not judging me. Let's see.
I mean, most of the people I coach are lower elo than you. If anything, you're playing better
No,
than the average person. But again, what matters here first? Bot side. Right? The Elder is what matters. We're getting Elder then Baron, not Baron then Elder. That's just how it typically works, right? So controlling the bot side vision makes way more sense here. Now our team is for some reason all doing whatever they're doing, so we're gonna have to go and follow them.
So that's. I mean, if they start a fight right now and all 4 of them are grouped, we pretty much win anywhere. Yeah. Like I'm at a huge spike.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying. It's not about like once your team does something, you have to follow them, but you should be setting up for the bot side and be aware that that's more important.
Oh my god, I messed up.
That's fine.
I saw it way too late, but
You should still win this.
Thing.
Yeah.
No, my deathless game. That was so close. I think I might as well go Trident. I don't think we have this to. But yeah.
Do they have that? They have only Yasuo shield now. Why don't you just get like Harmonic?
Yeah, Aatrox has Aatrox is voting into Hex Drinker, so he's going to be really obnoxious if I don't get it.
I guess. Well, they're gonna be able to stall now.
Actually, no. Let me. You're right. I think about it. I think that I don't need Trident. What do I need? I think I'm just gonna go ahead. If I get fields become too large for them to get through. Because right now we're at what? 390.
Alright. I mean, just go bot wave. Your team's not gonna lose a fight with Elder and 2 people dead. Just start getting the waves pushed so you don't like get punished. Go bot wave, yeah. Like at this point, you're not really gonna be able to end because they have the Baron. So.
Yeah, I should have taken more awareness of the fact that we had Elder, and I couldn't have just fought for the sake of fighting.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're gonna have to play around the next objective to win the game.
Yeah.
Not gonna.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like.
Don't go up this wave. Don't go up this wave. Again, it's gonna start pushing. It'll push into you eventually. The main thing is to have the waves desynced, and then now you want to hover in case your team does randomly hit.
Yeah.
Like here, he's probably into.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter.
I think.
That is shit. So, take it.
Let's just. I think we can end here. I mean, let's see.
You have 45 seconds on Baron. They have to end for you to end. But if you find like a team wipe, again, just be aware of win wall and then.
I think this is very fair. Okay, it's win wall.
Yeah, you can end. Cool.
There's still he is.
Just flash on the Lee with your ult eventually.
I did not. That was so ridiculous.
Can't really end, I don't think. Probably just have to recall.
That was my fault. I was a little too quick with the flash ult from the proper angle.
Take a lot of scary recalls, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
well, it's because if they try to interrupt me recalling, then generally speaking, I find the engage. If I'm in a higher rank lobby, like I'll recall near players who are able to follow up on that. Like if they tried to come on me there, I could have just rooted and shielded away, or I could have root ultimate shielded if they really tried to engage on me. They don't actually have a way onto me. Yeah. That's why like the one death that I did get was just like me being incredible. If I play smart, I do not die in this game.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Again, just make sure you're hovering waves with our team, and then like sometimes you go on a wave a little bit too long, but again, you're not really ever in a. Maybe you do die.
Nope, I'm good. Oh no, just barely. Yep, I was entirely too cocky there. I didn't recognize the Aatrox had the slow item. I might need to switch to. I need to go QSS just to get more tenacity for that, because that's really, really difficult.
I think your flash is going to be up. I don't think it really matters, man. I'm going to be honest. Like, you're going to have flash next time, and that's going to be the last fight of the game if your team doesn't already end here. I think they're just going to end here already.
Yeah, I think.
But Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is you hover a lot of mid waves both in the ADC game and in this one, and I know you say you like baiting people and whatever, but like doing it when you don't have flash,
That is
for example, is a
not
lot
the
scarier, and doing it without your teammates are a lot of times pointless. Like you could just wait for your teammate to be there and then hover this wave with them instead of dying on that wave by yourself, because your team will come in the next like 10 seconds on it anyway. Like I think control of the waves, and again, your vision needs to be set more in a position where something's going to happen next. You need to start anticipating what's going to happen and like setting it up. Use pings a lot more as well. But I'll write all these things down for you right now, and we'll talk through it. I'm going to share my screen with you and write it down, just so we can talk about it as I'm doing that. So
Yeah, I would
you
say
can stop
like
sharing your screen and then.
okay. Some things that I noticed in my own play that I was both lacking and that I didn't listen to instruction was with vision. I definitely continued to place instinctual wards instead of focusing on warding the brushes where the key objectives were about to spawn.
Yeah.
I also was not as I just was not prioritizing getting shove as much, which I definitely should have been. I should have been focusing on keeping waves pushed so that we had more freedom to do what we need to do.
Yeah. Do you see my screen right now or no?
Let me see. I do, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start going through the the main things that we spoke about. I'm just gonna write them down. Tell me if you want me to phrase. I'm gonna send these to you at the end after, obviously. But tell me if you want me to phrase something differently, or if you have questions about what I mean by it, or anything as I write it down. But we'll just start thinking about the lane phase first for the games, and then go through that. So the first thing was mainly like keep in mind enemy lane goal, and then like the thing what I mean by that, for example, like Thresh level 2.
Yeah, Thresh.
Soraka.
Yeah.
Target Soraka because she can't heal herself, that type of thing. So like keeping in mind, I hate autocorrect, but yeah, keeping those things in mind, I think that's pretty straightforward and understood. So that's the first.
Yeah, when it
thing.
comes to the
Go ahead.
I was gonna say when it comes to the combat things like the Soraka, if we had attempted to attempted to kill, I definitely would have targeted her. But I was trying to more just progress the lane in a neutral way because if they get a kill, then Soraka can snowball out of control, and I knew that there's always a chance that my AD carry might just run it down. So I like to play conservative against Soraka and just go for items.
But yeah, again,
Sorry,
the thing is more, it's
continue.
more about what's like. I'm not saying you literally need to only ever hit Soraka. Obviously, that's not realistic. It's just more like that's the thing we keep in mind when we have the option. So that wasn't specifically a critique of your gameplay, more just like one of the general things. And then the wave management against the Thresh was the one that was like directly related to it. And then controlling the wave, for example. Again, another thing about the power spike in that second lane is that they're bad level 1. Varus level 1, all he has is 1 Q. He doesn't have access to his passive. He doesn't really have a lot of damage. And Soraka either doesn't have access to heal or has access to no poke. So they're both very, very weak on that level, despite having a much stronger lane phase than you overall. So controlling that wave as you did level 1 allows you to then, what you should have done, again, like we said, go for the vision on the blue buff, for example, after that.
Yeah.
So like after pushing waves,
I have it pushed in. They're forced to stay there and clear, and I have the freedom to move around. That makes sense.
And so that's our biggest power spike in lane. So again, as keep an enemy lane goal. Same thing as keep in mind your own goal, which is just the power spikes. Again, your power spike in that lane is level 1, and then kind of like level 5 all in with the jungle. Apart from that, you're losing the rest of that lane. So again, the Thresh thing once level 2, before that's not that bad. That's the main thing about your lane phase, and then jungle tracking. Just keep in mind enemy jungle tracking a lot more.
Yeah, just be aware of where they generally are on the map, so they don't get surprised. They don't get a double kill on my ADC because I wasn't paying attention. I was playing too far up to the river.
Yeah, because for example, both of those games, obviously, since you have someone in call, I can look at it more holistically. So I was telling you like where jungle is going to be, but that's something that you have to be able to do yourself once like you're in games, and it's always hard because. You're usually able to do it, say your first game of the day, but a lot of times it's like the 6th game, maybe you're tilted, right? You stop thinking about that type of thing, or
you don't want to do the complex processing and actually paying attention.
Yeah, and that's why it kind of becomes a habit after a certain point, which is why the way that I approach improvement and the way I want you to go about it is choose, say, 2 or 3 of these things at a time. The more we'll write down. Choose like 2 or 3. Work on only those things. Keep that in mind for your session or however many until you feel like you built it as a habit. And make sure the things you're working on apply during different parts of the game. So maybe a lane phase, thing, and then a later part of the game thing to work on. And then eventually it just becomes habit. Like I pretty much always click on the map, like the thing that I told you during the loading screen, and then I see where the enemy are located, so I know where the enemy jungle is going to path. It's pretty much a habit for me to do that now. So like that's the type of thing where you can develop, and then it just becomes second nature.
I know this
Yeah.
is going to sound absurd. I legitimately, for my entire time playing, have just been assuming that it was random. That's ridiculous of me.
No, I didn't know that.
From
Someone in my chat randomly told me that. Like after it was like
crazy.
6 months ago, I probably, and I've been playing for 3 years. So yeah, it's been
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know it for a
same
long
here.
time too. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
one other thing from lane phase that I remember I was doing poorly was my just actual positioning. The fact that I was playing,
yeah,
closer
for
to the
sure.
middle of the lane instead of utilizing the brushes, which would have allowed me more opportunities to get poke and get engaged, and also possibly deny the minions if I get them low enough.
Yeah. And another thing
Yeah.
is making sure you're staying on a parallel line with ADC because a lot of times you were really behind
Yeah,
them,
I
really
was
in
I
front
was
of
too
them.
close to them.
So yeah.
Yeah, so
And
Varus could
close
just
as
get
well.
yeah.
That's the main thing. You're definitely right about that. And then yeah, apart from that, from lane phase, you did a good job in the Kaisa game of playing around when your jungle randomly ganked you level 2 for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of these things are good. And then yeah, going on to the later parts of the game, just general focus on waves. I think that's a lot of different things that encapsulates, but we spoke about sort of the more specifics of that. So I'm just gonna have that as a general point. Make sure you're focusing on the waves, obviously, especially I'll write that in parentheses, I guess, especially waves around objectives. So for example, mid wave's always valuable, but then the go mid wave and then hover sort of top side if the Baron is up, right, or vice versa. So just playing around like objectives. So make decisions based on objectives. For example, ward side of map where drag is spawning, these types of things.
I do have a question with warding. What would you recommend that I do if I'm in a situation where my team is down, say 0-10, and I'm not able to safely ward in a desirable location? What should I do with my vision?
Yeah, so
Like, say I'm up against a Lee Sin who's 8-0 in the early game. Like, I can't realistically face check and ward.
yeah,
And I'm not saying that happened in this game, but just to prepare for the future,
yeah,
because that's an
of
aspect
course.
of vision that I've never understood.
Yeah, go ahead and ask more like hypothetical questions if you want to, but at least that one, if you're really behind, the words become pretty much convenient. So for example, the way that you're approaching wording right now is you word wherever's convenient, where whatever bush is close to you, wherever you're just kind of at. That's sort of what you got to do when you are behind, because you don't get the luxury of walking towards other things or setting up. So if you can if you can get even a decent word, say the enemy jungle just recalled and he recalled, that's the one time where maybe you can ward a bit more aggressively. But if you don't know where anyone is on the map, ward whatever bush is near you that you don't have vision of, because they could easily pop out of that. So basically, just win behind ward wherever I can't type, wherever is convenient. Bro, I cannot type, but it's fine. I don't even know how to spell convenient.
One more
it's fine.
One more vision hypothetical. Another one of my champions, Galio, is like I play him in the full AP build, like scaling to the late game with Gathering Storm, which means that generally speaking, I take sweeper just so that I can ensure that I'm coming up on enemies that don't have vision of me, and I can ensure that I can get the one-shot combo.
Yeah.
Is sweeper the correct choice in that situation, or even when I'm playing like an assassin type character?
Yeah,
should I
burst
still
assassins in mid game love having sweeper for sure. You're definitely right about that.
Okay, that's what I figured, but I wanted to double check that because I didn't know if that was actually correct or just what felt right to me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good for sure.
Okay.
What other things we talk? Oh, I definitely think keeping track of spells, key spells, like the Kaisa game especially. Again, we weren't thinking about that, and then
the big issue.
Which that kind of falls in line with this, which is try to think more about enemy thought process, I guess, like basically how they want to play the game, what they're looking to do,
and like anticipate what they're going to do so that I can plan for it instead of just blindly going into the game and reacting. I should play proactively with the enemy instead of reactively.
Well, it's not even proactive or reactive, because you are, like, for example, the entire Kaisa game, you are playing reactive because
I was playing purely reactively there because I wasn't considering.
No, I'm saying you're supposed to play reactive.
I am supposed to reactively.
You're supposed to react to when Thresh goes in. You're reacting by now going aggressive. You're not just you as an AD carry, and a lot of times as an enchanter support champion. You don't have the ability to just walk into a bush for free. Like if you're playing Nautilus, you can.
Let me rephrase. Are you saying correct wording? What I meant is that you have to actively think about what all of the enemies are going to do. Like for example, in this Kaisa, I was not thinking about how my interaction with Thresh would be in the fight. I was not thinking about anything really. I was just focusing on hitting what was near me and staying safe. Like I wasn't having any of those thoughts you mentioned when it comes
Yeah.
to actively considering each individual champion, where they're at in the game and what they're trying to do, and that's what I should be doing.
Yeah, and so the thing is, like, it's essentially you want to determine, again, it's all based kind of around the win condition. You're supposed to figure out what the most, like, important thing
Yeah.
is at whatever point in the game. So for example, the most important thing for you as, say, a Fed AD carry into a Fed assassin where everyone else in the enemy team is really weak is finding the enemy assassin's location.
Yeah.
So that means your words need to be based around that. Everything needs to be based around that. And so that needs to be the one thing that's actively in your mind. And then everything else has to be what you're normally playing like, which is like autopilot. You know, you're just doing those things. And then you find the most important thing. Or for example, if you're the support, you need to peel your teammate, or like you need to pay attention specifically to, say, your Fed Kaisa. Nobody else matters. So you always find one or two things to actively think about. It kind of allows you to be more present in the game. And then all the other things can just be the same as you're already playing, which are just, you know, more reactive or not reactive, but yeah,
so
more autopilot.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and I shouldn't just, try to incorporate every single one of these things in my next game. I should pick a few that I think that I can really hone in on and really,
Yeah.
like that I can incorporate into my second nature, and then I can move on to other things.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I approach everything. There's always like one or two things that I'm mostly thinking about improving.
Yeah.
Even it can be a small thing, because obviously, like, the more that you improve, the more or the more difficult it is to identify the next thing to improve on. And so you can just find really small things, like maybe even like your one thing is just like trying to land more spells eventually, which then you think about trying to just get better aim, which you can do by, like, you know, trying to position yourself in a way to push someone against the wall or whatever other things. But it's can always
that
be a smaller
aspect
thing.
that's one I know very, very well with
Exactly.
yeah.
That's just
Yeah, I
obviously
know
an
what you
example,
mean in that regard.
Are there any other questions or any other things we spoke about? I'm trying to think through if there were more things specifically that we talked about.
I think that those were the key points. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else.
Yeah, I think you could think about your build more before game starts. I think a couple times you're a little like,
I do have a problem with building too reactively. I have trouble just picking a build and sticking to it. I always feel the need to look at what the enemy is building and find ways to counter them. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes I'll see that for the end, like I'll see Yasuo, Janna, Seraphine, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need Trident here. But then sometimes it just ends up with me building useless items.
well, I mean, I'm just saying you should put that brain power, or that, like, just like jungle pathing is something you can think about before the game. You can think about that before the game. You don't really need to think
so
about that
I
much during
shouldn't
the
be
game.
putting my brain power into that. I should be focusing more on the actual game itself.
I mean, like, and then there's like the niche scenario where, say, enemy might be 3 AP, but they might all be weak and their only Fed carry is Zed. And like then sure, that's
that
the
would
one
be
time
very
where you're gonna shift from what you were gonna build to, say, an armor item. But like besides those types of niche scenarios, you're just usually gonna have a build that you're gonna know you would build before the game starts.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So you have any other questions then, or I think that'd probably be it.
I do not. No.
Okay.
Let me know when you're.
What's up?
Let me know when your next available session is. I'd actually like to buy one more game because I want to get your notes on top, because the way that I play top is radically different than the other roles. It's much more focused on, like, wave management. So I'd like to get input on that, because
I mean, if you send another $15, we can do it now if you feel like it. Otherwise, we can set it up for another time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which do you prefer? I wasn't sure of those.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right now, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll go ahead and send another 15. But so this, you should be able to answer this. I'd like to know, with Sion, what would you say is the most optimal way to consistently win the game? Like the win condition in terms of items, in terms of runes, like just as the default. Because I've always been indecisive when it comes to my runes and items on Sion, shifting between glacial, shifting between grass, shifting between occasionally phase rush into some matchups.
Sorry, I was a little distracted. I apologize. So the runes on Sion, like the main keystone
runes
rune,
and
or what?
items. Yeah, just what would you say is like the most consistent, like what should be my default runes, essentially? What should I default to?
I never claimed to be, like, I'd assume you know more about Sion than me, for example.
I
never claimed to be
probably
really,
do, yeah.
really good at everything, right? And the goal for me is usually the more the decision-making things and everything. For me, I'm assuming green runes are the typical, like, main ones that you're going, and then maybe in a matchup you think is easy, you could go demolish if you think split pushing is important. Otherwise, you can just go a damaging rune or whatever. But I don't think those are overly important. For whatever works for you, I think it's fine in that regard. And then
Okay.
again, as if that's just like your main champion in top lane, you can in theory craft a certain thing if you feel like it's good for the matchup.
Yeah,
like grasp
exactly.
is common. I think there's probably other ones that people go that are fine. Again, I don't think this is what's going to really impact the game. I think those are more things you figure out through time if you have an idea. Like if you're like, I think that if I go this rune, I can end up winning a matchup I wouldn't or whatever. But in terms of the default runes, a lot of the normal things that you would go are fine in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to you or if you, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
And then tank items are obviously situational. So I mean, if you don't understand tank items, I can explain to you. But I feel like
Oh no,
you probably...
don't worry. I had tank items. I didn't know if there was some sort of agreed like practice, like an agreed best build. Because I am playing down in an elo where there's not a lot of Sion players.
I mean,
Because
Sion
it is
just
more.
isn't played anywhere. Like he's a very uncommon champ in every elo. Yeah.
It's just so fascinating because he has some incredible potential if you can play him well. Like it's very, very, very situational. But with Sion, I'm able to Oh, 1 second. I'm yapping. Let me actually start the call and start the rank match. I mean, start the screen share.
Yeah. I mean, since this is only one game that you wanted to do, it's fine to talk a little bit. If you have other things, like whatever you view as valuable anyway, fine.
Yeah.
Too.
Get they just gathering information. Share your screen. There we go. And another thing I'll do with Sion occasionally is he's actually he's a very safe jungle pick if you're against an enemy that's playing something like a Kha'Zix, for example, like a lethality champion, because faster clear than people would expect. So if you delay Heartsteel and are just able to avoid dying over the course of the first 10 or so minutes, then he essentially has a free smite against the majority of junglers in the game and is able to act as a tank. And this is only like, say I'm flat pick jungle and I see that my entire team is picked very squishy champions. It's one of my options.
Yeah, that's fine if you see that. I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off 1 sec. I'm really hot.
Yeah, I'm good.
But yeah, I think like 2 years ago, I had a friend I do it with a lot, and he got rank 1 Sion playing Sion jungle. Like he would one trick it. It was weird, but I mean it worked.
The thing with Sion is if there's a really good Sion player, and I don't claim to be one, but Sion has pretty much an infinite cap. He's the only champion in the game that works the way that he does, both with his zombie form, the global access with his ultimate, and the infinite HP scaling. It's just absurd.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a champ you can get a lot of value of, even if it's not utilized that well by people. Like, I think it is a champ that kind of fits one tricks who understand the playstyle well.
Yeah, it is matchup specific, though. I mean, if you're against a Vayne and a Kaisa, for example, then it's much more difficult to go for a hyperscaling build, but you can still go for a more, like a build that more focuses on armor and MR.
Well, if you're into a Vayne and a Kaisa, I'd assume your goal is to die 48 times like the boss or something at that point.
I'm glad that you understand that no one in Masters does, legitimately not a single person. Back when I was like up to 70 marks, people would understand that if you have a Sion whose KDA is like 0-15-6, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like that's, in some games, that is my win condition. It's just dying over and over.
Well, if you watch like, sorry to cut you off, but if you watch my stream, when I played Jace, like if I start a game 0-2 and the game is looking fine for the rest of the game, or even sometimes if it's just bad, like someone will come to my stream, why are you 0-11 now? And I'm 0-11 because I'm literally just going to shift to that mindset because my champ also pushes really fast, and so even though it's not the same in terms of health, like I understand that's
the
what
only
playstyle is,
the only thing that really necessarily matters is gold. Like you could have an enemy, you could be down 0-5 and the enemy top could be ahead 5 kills, but if you're even in gold, it literally does not matter one bit.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, yeah, gold is all that I think about. Like, that's how I'm usually teaching people, is to think about that a lot more. And that's why controlling the waves matters so much more, because that's giving you 200 free gold that a 300 gold kill is not even as worth as much, because you're worth more gold if you get that kill anyway, and it's way more risky and all these things, which is why. Is your battery 1, by the way, or am I crazy?
Oh my god, wait. Is it? That's crazy. Hold on, let me click on my phone.
Like, I swear I didn't even see the thing. It was so like...
Yeah, oh no, 7%. So that is way too low. I absolutely should plug in my phone. I gotta be careful. I was so focused on the conversation, I didn't recognize it. Okay,
Yeah.
so one of my main techs with Sion, I guess I could say, and one thing I generally will use to get an advantage is at certain thresholds, I can do the global map ultimate, assuming that there are
Yeah.
no enemies that can block me. That's something that I've gotten pretty good at doing. I don't think that I'm doing it at the correct timing, so I think you can help me with that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was jungle last game. Yeah, no.
Oh, so you use Hex Flash a lot.
Yeah, Hex Flash is good, specifically with Glacial. It actually, I use it for a level 1 tech where if I'm able to sneak behind a lane that doesn't have good escape, I could actually execute to the tower. If the enemies are far enough away, they aren't able to hit me. And then I can flash onto them, and then Glacial will proc from my death. And I've gotten a lot of double kills for my bot lane that way. It's just an
Yeah.
execute, so I can make it up to top and only lose but one wave.
Yeah, I mean, if these unique things work for you, again, these are
Yeah.
like the one trick type of things that I'm not
Yeah,
gonna be.
I'm
telling
being
you.
too niche. I'm being far too niche when it comes to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's focus on the map. Let's focus on the enemy champion.
Well, this is a
Okay,
game, for
do you-
example, like you can't die over and over because Darius
Yeah.
will destroy you guys if you do that. So like that's definitely
Yes, I have to be
had
more
happen, yeah.
cautious.
Where I was Sion trying to play the like they'll play the inting Sion strategy every single time, and then it's like, yeah, now there's a fed Darius on him.
Yeah,
Obviously, if the lane starts to go really bad and you're 0-2 or whatever, then you can start doing it. But like,
I legitimately have. I'm assuming that it's Darius, but there's also a chance that it could be Mundo.
yeah, it could
And
be.
it's- So,
I think Mundo would be a lot easier for you now.
oh no, absolutely. I would love for it to be a Mundo. I can generally get kills on them as long as he doesn't have the like if he has demolish, I can get a kill. But if he has a damaging rune, I have to be more careful. Oh, wait. I didn't even notice that the Yumi made it through till last.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yumi's overrated. So, but yeah, I'm
No,
surprised
I
because
agree.
it's usually banned. So.
Yeah, it is. So I have level 7 Yumi in support. I do rarely play her just because I'll play her with duos. Like I have some duos, like one Tristana and one Draven, that understand the interactions with Yumi. But if
Yeah.
I'm just in a solo queue environment, it's pretty bad, honestly.
Oh yeah, I feel the
Teammates
same.
aren't going to understand how your teammates won't understand the way that your kit works and the way that your buffs work, and they'll just run it down.
Check jungle pathing again too. Something again
Yep.
we should start doing with everyone.
Yep, every game. Okay, so that is Mundo jungle. He always starts red. There's no way Mundo starts blue. So he's going to be pathing down to me. He might gank me at level 5, which would. I don't know if I can get out of it. I have to be careful.
I feel like as Sion, the thing is you don't need to be that worried about getting ganked. You want to be aware of it, but it's like if you die to a gank, as long as you get the wave, it's not the end of the world too.
Yeah,
so it's like
I'm grateful. If Darius had taken phase rush, I would have been significantly more concerned. Conqueror is fine. I mean, I have to be careful not to take extended trades with him, but phase rush Darius is the one that like legitimately counters me in lane.
yeah.
And I just like to roam level 1. If
Really?
Fire zombie form level 1 is stupid, so I just see if I can create any advantage, and if I can, I'll move on top.
As long as you don't miss out on all the.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Now he's gonna be zoned away from wave.
The only problem is he could all in you. Like, I think it's.
Yeah, I can. I mean, that's
You'll
Is
be
he-
fine. I think.
he's missing as much CS as I am, so he's eventually gonna want to go back. That does like have to do splash right away. Okay, check that. Well, I get XP for that.
It's
That'd
already
be-
a situation where you might have to eventually just die for a wave because of the early wave being kind of bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can position my way into. I think that would be a lot better. I'm gonna get that one up. I'm really just practicing black 50 because if it does pull me in, then there's not much I can do about black. You do. Should be fun here. Oh, but I do get the wave. That was an unfortunate level 1.
Yeah, I think the main thing is like again, it's not that hard to be like you could have just been a bit more aware of the Darius level 1, and then like this doesn't happen, and
You're
it's
right,
fine to make
yeah.
the plays like that. But yeah, When something like
Yeah, that was-
that you do, then you have to be more
I
aware.
I shouldn't have just walked blindly down without knowing where he was because he is stronger level 1. I should have been more cautious and wrapped around the bottom of the tower to be
Yeah.
safe. But this is. He's going to be uber careful. So he's gonna, I think I can block a couple.
The wave will start to push into you, so now it's fine.
I've got Scorpion here as well, so I'll have support for pushing this wave in. And then once I get level 5, I think it's done. I can essentially recall without any downtime from my. He just, I think he lost a few last hit there. That was. Now he's level 5.
It's mostly fine.
I'm gonna go ahead and ward. Just nope.
He's not going on you.
Yeah. I am losing last hits as well, but once I get old, I'm back.
I think you just have to die for the wave again, no? Yeah.
I'm gonna get it as well. He didn't hit me, so this is an execute. There we go. I do lose some farm doing it that way, but it's also the way that guarantees that I won't die.
Well, I
mean,
think
I
it's
won't.
fine how you're playing after the start of the game. I think, again, the only, like, actual mistake is the start,
Okay,
like, after
go.
that. Starting to lag, I don't see... Okay, it's fine now. Lagging for a second.
Okay. Let's see. There, no one's radical. Okay, Twisted Fate is 2,800 gold. That's a little concerning, but it should be fine.
I think this game is just a perma side lane and die game, is what it looks like at this point.
Ultimate is down. Okay, Zika just, this is a mistake, and he needs to be blocking me. He cannot. There he is.
Might even just be able to die for the next wave. I don't know. Like, I don't think it really matters at this point. Not worth any. You can survive this.
I can force his ult. Yeah. Oh, and his flash. Perfect, perfect. Exactly. He's come right back down. He really did not need the flash here. But I also don't have Heart Shield because he went in early, so that's a little unfortunate. 10 seconds on ultimate.
I mean, I think the main thing is that you need to be aware earlier that you could have gone on the wave, and like that you're going to probably die. Like, at this point now, you're bleeding a lot more than you need. It is lagging, so it's hard for me to see. It's a little blurry, but I can't really see
is it?
numbers.
I apologize.
It's fine, but yeah, I'm just letting you know I can't see numbers or anything. So.
Gotcha. Well, here, let me try. I think that can better connection. Okay. Ultimately, I do have Heart Shield before the fight, and that's all that really matters. I am definitely Darius is going to be a problem, but I'm not
I think you
so
just
far
stay on
behind.
side lane. Like, I don't think you need to go fight right now. I think your like only goal is to just hide and die. Like.
Oh, try to go past.
Oh, you tried to ult pass.
Yeah, I tried to ult past it, but I messed up my flash, so I just ult right into him. If I had ulted past, I could have gotten 2 more. That was a mistake on my part. Okay, he has Scorpion 15.
It's gonna be very fed, right? Like.
Yeah. Yep,
So
5,000.
This is kind of the issue is when we let ourselves get all in. Again, it's the same concept, which is not thinking about the champion strength. Like,
yeah, I would prefer a game like this to be coached on because this happens sometimes and it's still absolutely winnable. It's a 3K deficit that definitely does suck, but it's not completely.
Well, at this point, you just have to do the obvious instinct Sion strategy, which is continue to die, which means Darius is going to continue to get really fed, but like you can't stop it at this point.
I started.
Like, one thing is, like, that ward doesn't actually really do anything for you because you don't care about dying, so like getting a ward on the objective is way more valuable. But
I'm gonna get demolished here and then ultimate up in 15 seconds and they still haven't started the tower, but with the dragon, actually.
I think that you should just go for the turret, honestly. Just go for the turret. I don't see why not.
My auto attack damage on the turret is actually extremely low with plates up, so I've only going.
But what does this do? Like, I don't see what it does.
The wave. The wave, I should be able, I'm able to clear through it, assuming it doesn't. Not those ones, but I also did not.
Okay, so I'm thinking about it now. Like, to me, they're obviously about to get the dragon. Makes sense to go topside here.
Yeah,
But,
but
like,
I think I shouldn't have gone once everyone died. I saw that there were low
no,
health
I
bars.
actually don't think.
Yeah.
I think you're correct that you should go there. What I think that your goal should be though is for your team to get the Herald. So you should be not dying there. You should be trying to drag people to you once your team respawns. But you
Yeah.
went ahead so far before your team's respawning, and then
Yeah.
now it's a lot harder. You're not drawing anything. And even here, I think you should be topside and let your team 4v3.
You would
My
recommend I
opinion.
go here? I would think that I thought I would have to go
Okay,
bot.
well, so Seraphine was coming. You could have. Yeah, I think you should have been topside because to me, you're drawing people on the opposite side of you, whereas here, we're end up playing towards the strong side, so everyone's just going to be on us again.
I'm significantly behind this game.
Yeah.
Like in most situations, that would have been a kill. That's unfortunate. Okay, so I definitely have to focus more on just general map control, right? I should not be I should not be focusing on trying to take fights or like
Yeah.
trying to go out of my way. I should just be focusing on it.
Yeah, and again, you need to think about what's going to like actually progress the game, which is like your team getting advantage on some side of the map, and you don't want to be on that side of the map. Like you want to be on the other side trying to draw people to you. So again, you could have made that play to draw people to the other side as your team that can then get the objective, because that's the way we're going to come back. Obviously, at this point, you're pretty much just going to be dying for waves because of the situation we're in at this point. But
Okay. Well, this is going to be a bounty because I do have. I'm sort of whether or not Darius is really
I don't think it matters. I think, I mean, like, you can just die to him again for the wave.
I can do that, but I can also.
Yeah, that works fine, yeah.
Oh.
Flashes.
I mean, I will take him using on not one of my teams.
Yeah, that's fine at this point.
Thing, no point warding.
You understand the playstyle and the thought process behind it. I think the details are like one. The simple thing about thinking about his strength, because obviously we spoke about before, don't go gargoyle, they have Zeri, but we spoke about again the champion strength. We didn't play around champion strength, and then that's why Darius gets strong, and then we get in this situation where there's a fed Darius when there never should be. Yeah. I would go bot side again. Baron is not spawning next, Dragon spawning next. We'd rather just keep that lane pushed. Be playing away from that side of the map, in my opinion. Make sure you don't KS that if you were trying to, because we do not want to be taking that gold for ourselves there, but yeah.
So I was just being cautious because it's a fed Darius and a fed Yumi, so I didn't know they were going to have a.
Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry, I'm a dumbass.
It's all good.
Big brain part, it's not a fed Yumi.
Yeah.
I was just here. Once I get someone more, I will have the ability to reach out the way.
Yeah. And again, you can do this death. Maybe a kill angle. But again, is it even worth to get a kill?
I think so, yeah. Oh my god, that is good with it.
Yeah, I mean, shifting the focus again to the wave is still not the end of the world, but like.
We'll get the wave at the end of the day.
Again, to me, like, when would that kill matter? That kill would matter in 20 seconds. It wouldn't matter now, because if you killed him, he's still going to respawn in time, right? For the dragon.
Well, but I wanted to get to the gold threshold of getting Thornmail because I'm just a bit away from it. But I also should not have greeted for that. It was like kind of a gamble, which I shouldn't be taking at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, again, to me, like, when you're playing the Synthetic Science strategy, the times that it matters for you drawing like pressure, drawing someone is an objective. The early objective, the Herald, and then this one. But you're doing it like too early, or you're making plays again where you're now dying or going too aggressive in situations where now you're dead or respawning with no pressure on the map as an objective spawning. So your team doesn't get that opportunity of a potentially strong fight because they're not going to be in a position to fight as you're dying there, whereas they would be 30 seconds later. And I think that's something that's happened twice at this point. And so again, dying once here doesn't really matter because then you'd come back and then you'd be setting up for the Baron afterwards.
That's my
like where
intention.
you'd be on top side, but you're trying to get pressure there. But yeah, it doesn't matter that Darius is doing that.
Yeah, I should be able to actually go here. Got the tower. I got the wave. Flash. No, he's way too fast. No point in wasting a ward here. So I should be going to ward here, or I should be split pushing.
No, you should still be split pushing. I mean,
Split push.
I
That's what
don't even know why your teammates there right now. But no,
Yeah.
again, it's more about like your death timers being at times that matter, whereas a lot of your times of dying are like
They've been more
wasting
random.
flashes or ults or the things that will help you actually potentially turn the game. You're wasting that in a time
Yeah.
where even if you get the value, it doesn't really matter. I understand the gold threshold for the Thornmill is not the worst thing ever, but again, say that you do kill him, say you do kill him for Thornmill, you're not going to be able to then go and team fight. He's going to be able to come to the team fight before you anyway. He's still going to get there with his TP or whatever, and you're not going to be that much stronger. Like, it doesn't actually matter for the outcome of the game.
Yeah. Let's follow it up. Another different one shot for the
Yeah, I mean, your team should be on Barons, some of them. Try not to die at this point if you can. Like, it's kind of important that you don't die. The reason is because your teammate just got a couple kills, so you want to be drawing a lot more pressure. Perfect. Now go on the top wave instantly. Because now there's no way of you guys actually getting the Baron, so now you can die. It's not the end of the world.
This is exactly the opportunity I needed to farm out so far behind. This will give me what I need.
But again, notice that like you not dying there actually matters because of the fact that you want control over the objective, whereas a lot of other times, like now you can die here. This doesn't matter anymore. Because at this point, your teammates will start to respawn and you have no control over getting the objective at this point. So that's the type of thing that matters.
Yeah.
And I think these are the main things, is not viewing it as in the holistic way of like, what times do I actually need to die at? Apart from that, I mean, you understand the general strategy. Again, the mistake of level 1 was a big thing that makes this game extremely hard, but we still could have turned it around a little better with those couple things, and you still have a Singe who's strong enough where it's not completely unwinnable.
Yeah, it's definitely not unwinnable. I mean, Darius is 10-2, I'm 0-10, but it's only, what is that? It's like 3,500 gold.
Because it's a Darius, it matters. Like,
that's true. No, it definitely does matter. But what I'm saying is, it's not like he's 16,000.
Yeah.
I'm not going Baron here. I'm wrapping around.
Yeah, this is fine.
I think. Yeah, you guys do your thing. I'm gonna go get that twist.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, yes, I'm.
You should take the T-Rex, I think, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I wish I had a way to stop power gone.
You're gonna have to start more getting topside waves pushed because of.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't do that. Q it. Yeah. Bro, you know you one shot with Q and E and you get more gold from them.
Oh, you get more gold from Cuny? I didn't know that.
More gold. Keep going topside. Just keep going.
Okay. Oh, you're right. Don't play for.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter if the T-Rex dies. Like, you can let the T-Rex die because what happens is they still get
come
buffed.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, you come out of it, but they still get buffed. Again, it's just Q through it. Yeah, more gold. Again, just go and E the next wave. And then probably after this E on the wave, I would start going and controlling mid. Then use the T-Rex. You're going to team fight here. Use the T-Rex as a second health bar.
Oh, that's not a one.
You only don't one-shot Mega Minions or whatever. Everything else you one-shot. Yeah, now let's start going through mid. Hard control. Just kill yourself for the mid thing. Like, use the T-Rex life pretty much to get the turret, and then go towards the fight afterwards because you're actually really strong. Like, you are just a tank in this fight.
Yeah, like
you would E this first. No, don't, dude. The wave is about to come. Just wait for the wave, bro. Wait for the wave and then ult it.
I don't even need to use ult here. I
mean, but now the thing dies when it didn't need to die.
Oh, I thought you said to get out of the T-Rex.
You don't want to get out of it. You want it low enough where you can potentially get out of it when you need, but you'd rather have it high enough health where you can make engages with it, and then you make a second engage with your actual champion afterward.
I misunderstood. I thought that you were saying.
Yeah, I understand how the confusion came. I could have been clear about that. Unfortunately, you're singed wrong side of the map here.
I can. Okay, now that I have.
Not bad though.
No, at this point, like you saw that I nearly was able to kill Christian with one attack.
Plate, remember, don't stone plate, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it's stone plate. It'd be. I can't.
mean, Sunfire is fine if you want it. Like, it's good enough.
Yeah.
And then Thornmail.
Yeah, it does mean that I might just end up building.
Make sure you buy in time, that's all, but yeah. Don't, yeah. Just do Thornmail components at this point, like it's... Okay, which objective is spawning next? The
Next.
Elder, right?
I get both at the same time.
Yeah, just get this topside wave you can recall for Thornmail. And then I think you probably have to team fight at the Elder, because that's kind of the one play to win. I don't think you're going to be able to side lane, the waves are too pushed. So I would recall
right.
and make sure you're strong enough for Thornmail. And then...
I'm gonna get
Yeah, that's fine.
objective.
And
isn't
then who
fun.
is strong on the enemy team? You need to think about who you need to keep away in the fight.
It's mostly Twisted Fate has his full AP build, so he does a lot of damage.
You might
That's
want to buy
pretty
TP and insta TP there, it depends. Do you...
not worth because I can.
Yeah, you
the
can
thing
do
with
that. That's true, that's true.
it's more damage if I can hit, and people.
Yeah, no, you're right, you're right. Okay, I guess you probably have to fight again. Just try to find a flank on them.
I said, I think with the flank here, we should be able to just. As long as I can.
Get in the Elder though. Just be careful with the Elder. Oh. As long as you're stalling, it's smart.
Oof. No, that was not good. I definitely focused too much on
died,
the.
it's still mostly fine.
Oh right, I forgot that he has smite. So.
Yeah, this is good actually.
Okay. Oh, focus. You there? You cut out for a second.
I didn't cut out, I just wasn't talking.
Oh, okay. Please, someone.
They'll get it eventually. It's... Oh,
No,
maybe
it's-
not actually. No, Jens. Fuck. Sucks.
Oh, that was a deserved win for him. I think that he played the map really well.
Yeah, again, if we're looking at the Sion thing, the main things are the same lane phase thing which occurred in the Thresh game, which is not thinking about what the champion actually wants to do. If you want to look for your level 1 things, it's fine. You just need to be aware of these types of things. And then I can share my screen for notes unless you want to do just one more game, then we can just do a game as well.
So let's do one more game in just general notes. I'm gonna go the jungle version because I want to
Sure.
see your opinions on the map macro here because it's definitely very different.
Unlucky autofill. Gonna ask them, obviously, but
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I feel that they won't respond kindly to top asking if you can go jungle Sion on.
guess not.
Oh, wait, I think that I recognize these players. This might be a higher ranked lobby. Definitely.
I've never seen any of these names. I think I've seen Zhao's name. That's it.
Yeah, sorry. By high rank, I
You
just
are an
banned
A,
Sion.
right?
Oops. Yeah. I was completely on autopilot and I banned Sion by instinct, but thankfully I have Mundo.
You ban Sion normally, or you were just picking it and
So
you thought?
I thought I was
Okay,
speaking with you, so I was just
that makes
really
sense. Why do you want to pick early? Because you're not.
because I feel that generally speaking, I know most top matchups, and I want to give my teammates a possible advantage because I try to play around my team. Like generally, I'm not the main carry of my games. I try to facilitate my teammates.
I mean, that's fine if you're playing Mundo or Sion or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but for example, if I was playing something like Galio and I was going for a carry build, I always try to get last pick or as close to it as I can. Like
So,
if I am anticipating that I will be the main carry, then I'm not just gonna blind pick it.
yeah, so you should have second one if you don't. I don't know if you do. If you're planning into Jace, I guess we're not 100% sure if it's Jace. But
Okay, so second win to Jace.
do you know how to like? How do you view the Jace matchup?
I'm
What
just
should-
gonna
what should you do?
try. He can like push me the hell in, but generally speaking, I can stay alive so long as I don't get too close and I don't try to greed for grasp procs. I'm more worried about this Pantheon. I think that's Pantheon jungle, and him and Jace together can generally combo me down. I need.
So you should. There should be one main key power spike that you're playing for. Do you know what it is?
Yes, the power spike is just going to be straight up heart steel plus boots. I think that once I get to that
you need
point,
to recall and instantly get plated steel caps.
I see what
The
you-
way that
This
Jace
is
wants
good,
it, and
Steel Caps.
because I've played 1500 Jace games, the only way,
Yeah,
like
please tell me, yeah.
the way you want to play into Jace, he has to beat a tank before the first recall. If you're able to get your first recall as steel caps, and it's also an 80 jungler, then you're like unkillable, and you can delay your heart steal for that. That's fine. Because if you get that, you start being able to actually grind pressure in lane. It's really hard for him to kill you. He's Conqueror, so you can't make as many like extended trades. Keep that in mind.
Oh yeah.
But not the end of the world either way. Just again, just use your Q to farm. Don't let him ever jump on you. Like, it's okay to lose CS as long as you're getting the XP from it. So just utilize the bush and everything for that. Don't let him mull in you as much as possible, and recall on 850 gold as soon as you possibly can.
Okay.
Don't let him push it into you first. Obviously, you're gonna have to clear a wave, but then just try to find a recall as quick as you can.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized. Okay, so it's a Pantheon. He's definitely going to be starting red. So I'm not going to be ganked like level 3.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I would agree.
I mean, ideally, I think I will save. I think I will save Ward and see if I can use it to get more information about him. But I don't need to put any vision down level 1. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those times where kind of how you were asking about if you're like losing. This is a time where you can ward more defensively.
Okay.
Because you're not gonna get prio to push or like get good wards. So pretty much any ward works. I wouldn't do this. I would be immediately lane focused. Don't walk here. He can all in you, for example. This is again, if he's in that push, you just get screwed. And probably not gonna be, but he might be, and there's no reason to look for it. Even here, don't walk up into here for that exact reason. So again, we need to understand what he's going to want to do. He wants to find all-ins on you really early, so we don't want to give him positions to do that. If he pushes, you're happy, and we'd be really happy if we didn't take a bunch of damage, right? So like, this is perfectly fine for us.
It does give me easier last hits once I get my third ability.
Try to dodge his E though, yeah.
He's focusing on last.
Okay, this is the main issue. Again, like you're letting yourself get poked out the same way as the previous level, and you're like, oh, I'm a tank, it's fine. It's not fine. You're not at a point where it's strong enough, like item-wise, to let this happen to you.
Gotta stay back.
Try to dodge his EQ. Oh, I mean, obviously can't always, but that's really the only thing you need to keep in mind right now. Make sure you get the gold. Again, you need way too scared there. He just used EQ. He doesn't have anything to kill you under turret and missed the last hit there. Or you missed the XP from it even. Then yeah, if he trades with you like this in the wave, it's not the end of the world. Like, that's fine. But again, say you hadn't taken a ton of poke, then it's really good. He's really low mana still. Managing his mana very poorly. If you dodge his next EQ, or QE rather, then you're like really happy, and then you can use this next wave is where you're gonna probably be able to recall. So again, you can utilize your exhaust to allow yourself to recall too, potentially.
I think he might be recalling.
Actually. Yeah, he probably recalled, which is a very big mistake by him. He's very, very bad at the game. But again, this is the issue, is you're just not playing around the enemy power spikes, and you're not playing around their cooldowns.
So thankfully,
well, you're screwing your recall too. Like, there's no... Bro, like, again, you should know that he is... Again, even here, just recall further. Just go back further, just recall at this point. Like...
Oh my god, what? Sorry, that was...
I mean, now, yeah, again, we have kind of screwed ourselves compared to what we could be, but this is still the power spike that we need to reach, and he's not... If he doesn't recall, he's not going to be very strong. So if he ends up not spending this gold, you don't actually have to be as worried, because he's just on regular boost. But
and I hit ultimate.
Yeah, go ahead. Used his Q, so now you're mostly fine to just farm.
You get that little poke there. I think he's probably calling.
Careful, if he does try to Q you, he could find a good all-in angle.
Yeah, I can realistically get away. It looks like he's calling, and I don't think I can get the benefit. I think he's fast enough to get up to like.
But yeah.
Nope. I was just saying that I love 3.
This is again not understanding what we need to do. Like you should have that.
Yeah.
You should have that turret right now. That should be yours. But for some reason, you tried to greed a play when he'd recalled a decent time ago already. Yeah. So, what are you doing? Okay. Like, you could have exhausted him when he jumps on you, and then you can trade with him. We have our power spike now on the boots that we spoke about.
That was legitimately lag. I was lagging before.
I understand.
That's why I did not think I was gonna make it. I thought it was
Oh.
gonna look really embarrassing. Okay. I think
Oh, you can't
yeah.
recall. You can't recall. You have exhaust, and you need this wave because otherwise he's gonna push and continue to pressure your turret. He's taking off a like okay, this is fine. You can just exhaust him and run away. Again, I wasn't clear about this. You can't just walk on the wave. You just need to be hovering like under your turret and just farming here and denying him gold because you don't want him taking your entire turret. But you can't just recall as the wave's meeting. You need to recall after you've cleared a wave that's already met. Like there's a lot of things we need to talk about this, and it's kind of hard to explain them all while the game's going on. But we're gonna.
Let's discuss analytically later. For now, like point me in the right direction. Essentially, I should be going hard.
Yeah, go hard
Nice.
still at this point. That's fine. And you're not gonna get much value compared to what you could, obviously, like in a different
Sure.
game. Jace is the main point of strength at this point. You still have someone who's strong on your team, so like the main thing is just trying to become tanky and make Jace's game hard. Jace still will have a very hard time damaging you. Like he's not gonna just one-shot you or anything. So your main goal is match him in terms of rotations. If he's split pushing, you split push. If he's going to team fight, you go. And your goal is to just deny him from using his spells on people who matter, and just let yourself die for him being sold out because you have a strong bot lane here. And so here you can push right now. Your team go bot push really quick because if you die here, it doesn't matter because if you die, that means Jace is not on the fight that could potentially impact the game. So, like it's really fine to just even die for the wave, but again, if you died for the wave, it would make more sense.
I'm trying to.
You can maybe live, I guess. Okay, you get a splash. So that's fine too.
Yeah.
But again,
So I'm gonna die.
This is what I mean about the death, why it's fine. Your team was going opposite objectives, so you can die for that, and then this is the best time for you to win the game, is if your team won that even fight. Now, your team ended up losing a fight that they realistically should have won based on gold, but like, that is the decision you have to make from this point. But obviously, the lane phase things are the ones that we really need to talk about, because there's a lot of mistakes there that make the game very difficult to play, so.
Yeah, lane phase definitely was an issue for me here. It's a definitely.
I mean, lane phase lost you the game in both games. That was...
Phase is generally an issue with top.
Like, you understand how to play from behind, and so this might still be a comeback angle, potentially.
Yeah,
but
realistically,
you don't need to be behind in so many of these games that you're behind in.
Yeah, you're right, because I'm making the mistake that put me behind in the first place, and I'm just playing.
Well, that's why it's annoying. Like, I don't really get annoyed at watching people, but like you're like a challenger player, like relatively good, and like you did the same mistake pretty much 3 games out of the 4 games that we've watched, even though we talked about it after every game. Which in the first game is the Thresh one is more of just I pointed out when we wouldn't have otherwise recognized it probably. But then both of the top lane games, and at this point just die. Like again, the wave, just care about the wave. It's whatever. Guess if you, I mean.
I don't think. Oh, that
Almost.
Yeah, almost. I mean, that's
fine though. You saw the angle. I don't mind you doing that. It's because he's building very poorly too. Like his build is just really bad.
If he was building, like if he just gone full lethality, I feel like he could absolutely delete me.
Well, he could either do that, like, or he could be Eclipse Cleaver, but going mana immune at all is fucking bad at the champion. He's also going the wrong boots into you, so that's good for us that he's really bad, and will probably make the game not that hard to even win. He's really bad at this champion. But again, it's the same mistake that we're making over and over again. We'll talk more about it after, but at this point, you're basically just inting Sion.
So right now I should be focusing on pushing the wave and
just keep pushing the waves permanently. Like your only goal is to get gold so that you're like tanky enough. Like you're gonna want Gargoyle.
Essentially, I just need.
You just want Gargoyle on this next fight at Dragon, and then you want to rotate probably if your team is still in a relatively decent gold spot. But you want to push the wave first and just make sure that in whatever way you can, you deny Jace from getting value in the fight, whether that's zoning him really hard in the fight or whether that's keeping him on the side lane right when the objective is spawning. Like it doesn't even matter if you die for a wave here, for example, if you want, or you can, like it's really whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to try to stall it out as long as possible. If I can get multiple heart skills back, probably. Oh, nothing right there.
What it is? But yeah, now he might be able to pressure bump it. Okay, Kha'Zix got a triple kill, so again, like we have strong point, and you're kind of aware of how to play this, even if, again, in my opinion, if you just instantly died for that wave there, it's way more consistent. Whereas
okay,
going...
so I should just go in, I should fully clear the wave, and I should just let him kill me.
Yeah, because then now he could technically kill your inhib if our team is like completely unaware.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, but you know, that's the thing that could happen. Again, it's just that's the consistent thing that's going to work every time. Whereas what you're doing is like sometimes gonna work, sometimes not. And I'm fine with you doing that if your team is being bad, but your team is carrying. So like
You're right.
in
Yeah,
this
I'm
situation,
situation. Yeah, and it's the thing. It's these things that I don't actively think about when I'm playing.
yeah.
That's the that I think I'm stuck, and that's what
When's the
I'm.
next objective coming up, for example?
I believe. Yeah, Dragon.
58 seconds? Okay, then just keep pushing permanently. Your teammates just got 2 kills, but they're gonna die. I mean, everyone will be respawned. So just make sure, at this point, die for the wave and just exhaust him when he goes on you and just waste his time. Like, your goal is just to waste his time and at least get the
Yeah.
turret.
Because
And
he's
then-
mid, so I can.
Yeah, he's coming for you, so just grab Scorpion and then just waste time. Like, don't die for the next wave, just stall him as long as possible with Scorpion and everything. And then once it's at like 5 seconds before the objective spawns, like you can start to try to bait him into trying to kill you with your exhaust and gargoyle. You can buy so much time. Like again, the only goal is keep him here as long as possible in whatever way you can. Okay, again, you did it too early though, remember? Like we want to wait a little bit longer until the objective's coming. But if you can still buy some time, that's fine. Okay, this is good.
Oh, Seraph. Okay, yeah. Yeah. As long as they're here and they're not.
I mean,
Oh, but
Kaza's
Dragon-
kill us, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah, Cosmic Spling is actually great. That should be a good amount of gold for him.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
again, this is kind of the thing that didn't happen last game, where now we're playing around the actual timer of the objective for making the stronger play, because in both games your teammates were winning their lanes anyways.
Yeah, definitely. I've been the weak factor in the past 2 games. I think the top is.
That's fine though. The way you're playing is it's more. We'll talk about how
Yeah.
that won't happen in the future, but
Yeah.
again, it's even once you are at this point, you're not being aware of where you should be on the map after. For example, now you go topside because now that's going to be the next time that an objective spawns is Baron. So again, here continue to die for the waves, and then only stop dying for the waves about 45 to 30 seconds before Baron is spawning. And then start going up maybe on like a 10-second timer, or once one person dies on enemy, if someone does die, and then you start trying to bait the Jace again. Again, your only thing is to keep the Jace, whether it's team fighting or on the side lane, away from your carries.
Okay, so I should play
die here. Yeah, just keep getting here, just get turret plates or whatever, just die. Like nobody cares, because again, the goal is gold, because there's nothing that matters right now. All that matters is gold. Their jungler is going to be pathing here, so just waste his time. You can use your ultimate and your gargoyle, again, just go on the turret. Just go on the turret, because again, nothing's really happening here. Okay, I don't. Is this?
I did have minions, because now the minions are going to be hit by the tower, and I think full minion wave push into inhibitor. This is Sion stuff.
Yeah, no, that's true. These are the types of things I wouldn't know, because I don't play this type of style, so for sure that's fine.
Yeah, and that's definitely allows me to. It makes me that much quicker. But that's okay, because
yeah, that's fine. And again, you see how this is the time I
This
wanted you to
is
die.
a
I
good
just told
time.
you, right? Like about 45, 30 seconds. Like now it's fine
Yeah.
because you're gonna respawn, and you just
And
got
I've got-
gold. So
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to end up going Thornmail, because Kaisa doesn't actually have any AP itemized yet, and Seraphine and Lux are obnoxious, but with the amount of... I'm trying to think. No, I don't
you're
have...
usually getting targeted by Jace anyway, and he's stronger. So yeah, it's fine to just full Thornmail.
Yeah, I think I'm just probably... It's just Thornmail.
Because again, your goal is to make like Jace not very strong. So armor is really all that really matters. Again, go topside. Like even now, just go topside. Because
Well, we have
even though
Echo-
that bot wave is weird and your echo's being weird, try to ping him off of it. But again, this doesn't matter. Like even if he does end up going there, your goal is just to buy the time. Again, just focus on the.
I would have actually built differently in that context. If I... Oh. Are we... I need to make sure he's default.
Again, you can die here if you have to just buy his time, but like wait until wait until your teammates are starting to do something, and then that's when you go more to buy his time. Like the problem is you're buying his time too early.
Okay. Oh, you're right. Again, I apologize. Yeah, I just wasn't thinking about the timer. I was just focused on finding an
Look how
angle.
your team is fighting now. Had you waited for that to happen, then you're just buying more time, and it's an extra 10 seconds, whereas now Jace gets to rotate earlier. Now your team lost the fight, but the thing is, say your team won this fight, Jace would be able to come and do something, but had you died 10 seconds later, it doesn't matter. Also, he has Serpent Swing now, so your Gargoyle's not the most useful, but it's fine.
Yeah, I think I'm... Yeah.
You don't really
I
have
can't
enough
really
gold
think
to
a
sell
better
it yet.
option.
You don't really have gold to sell it yet. Like, you just need to get to other spikes, but later on in the game, if that's the thing, then you're going to sell it.
Yeah, we've got Dragon in a minute 30. It looks like...
Yeah, start going bot side, and again, the soul is kind of the win con anyway, so... Again,
Yeah, so like, let's really
timer.
focus on this. I'm gonna try to incorporate what you're saying. So I should just keep Jace busy, but not actively try to all in him. I should just focus on keeping him away from my team.
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
then the goal is you can start actually dying to him about 15, 20, 10 seconds before the objective spawning, because the soul is what matters. But until that, you can
Yeah.
kind of die here if you have to, because you have enough time, I think, before the dragon spawns. But I think you probably try to just not die. I think just don't die. I think just start hovering a bush here and just like keep chilling here.
I'm just gonna play safe back here because I think
Yeah.
Seraphine's recalling, so I can get this tower. If Jace does, yeah, Jace is still top. They're not coordinating, so I can get this.
But don't do this for the tower. Like, don't die. Oh, you're doing. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, as long as you don't take too much damage, because you still want to be able to stall if someone does.
I just don't want their minions. In this situation, I don't. I think the power shots, but I still.
Probably have to go. I mean, your teammate died, so at this point, I think you know, go dragon, and try to stall time. Because the thing now, you want to make sure your teammate can respawn to possibly get soul. So literally just TP to the dragon and start. Yeah, you do this and just start trying to bait people so your teammate can respawn. Like, the goal is to just try to buy time for him to respawn. That's all. Yeah. Could be walking with Ash. Fine. Just back up. Again, just try to wait for your Kha'Zix to come in. Once the Kha'Zix is here, then you can start doing something again. The wave is not that important. The wave is not that important. Just, again, exhaust someone who goes on Kha'Zix, or just make Kha'Zix's game easy. Pay attention to him and try to walk up. Walk up for him. Give him vision. You shouldn't be even with him. You need to be ahead of him. Again, you're not aware of like who matters or what matters.
You're right. I should have been going in proactively, and I should have offered myself as a target. I stayed too far back.
Think about other people's perspective. What does Kha'Zix need? He needs vision. He can one-shot everyone. He doesn't need you to be full health while he's going in. He needs you to be like 1 HP where all the spells have been used and he can jump in. That's 100% the game-turning play there. It's fine, you know, but that's the type of thing that's going to turn these games around when you are in a position like.
Yeah. Actually, let's hold that thought, because it looks like that's going to continue to be the game-turning play. If they get dragon here, it sucks that we lose soul, but it's not really as impactful for them, and we're going to have another fight down with Baron.
Yeah, it's still entirely possible. So now you're going to topside again, and you're going to try to stall. Same way that we've been doing. Like, again, the bot wave doesn't matter, because realistically, unless your team completely throws, they'll eventually be around there. And still going to die, so it's fine.
Should I still go top?
Yeah. You have time to die once, I think. Like, you have time to die once, and since Jace is dead for now... Okay, well now you can't do anything. Don't do anything now. Now you can't die. You can die when you have enough people up where they can hover the Baron or do something, but now that you don't have enough people up, you're just going to clear the wave until then. Ping the Baron, though. Your team needs to go Baron. I think you go Baron. You need to try to deny it. Never mind, he died.
He died, okay. I used ultimate movement
yeah,
speed.
That's a bit much. Like, it wasn't like an urgent thing, but...
That wave is going to build. Yeah. Oh my god. Wave.
You have spirit, so after you get one more wave, you can just that. And I think, yeah, you're gonna have to play in this team fight, like actually be there.
Yeah,
for the elder. AFK, that's crazy.
I mean, it's the Ash that should
that
be
matters, yeah.
Okay.
I think he's back.
Oh, they haven't. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to frontline for the Kha'Zix, and I'm going
push the bot for now, I think. Actually, nah, he's got it. You just make Kha'Zix game easy. You're right.
Everything on me.
Nah, he's dead. He kind of entered there. But yeah, like you see, even there, you made it a lot easier for Kha'Zix just because we actually took a bunch of damage that time, and then he's able to play better. But then he ints, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. That's ultimately, it's not his fault.
Yeah, you're right to stall here now at this point. Kha'Zix or Kaisa will come, but just stall. Pretty much die for the. You might have to recall. I don't know if you can stop. They can stop this by themselves.
I don't trust that.
Yeah, I think you can probably just. Do you have TP your Kha'Zix or no?
Does Kha'Zix have TP? No, it does not. He doesn't have it yet.
Yeah. Maybe we'll buy it. You might want to just try to get vision of it. And
no, I don't have.
Possible. Yeah, it's not.
Here.
Yeah, I'll play.
Yeah, get inhibitor as well. Should I be getting inhibitor or should I be
I think you have to
refollowing?
not die, to be honest.
Oh,
Maybe
I
you
should
can
be
get
fine.
it though, yeah.
Yeah, all three of them are there. All three are there.
They're gonna end mid though. They're literally gonna end mid, yeah.
I think, yeah, I can still get back in time.
They could have ended mid, but they just
They
didn't.
could, yeah. I mean, there's.
Oh,
Oh, I don't think I make it. Oh, that's unfortunate.
that's you.
I mean, definitely has some.
Oh, yeah, it's just It is, yeah. Like I said, we just had to recall earlier at that point. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The main. I'll share my screen again. We'll write some more general things. I'm not gonna write as many specific things because these are all like.
Yeah, give me broader general concepts.
Yeah.
That's definitely what I just need to change my approach to the game.
I mean, at this point, like for example, there's a lot of times where I didn't think you can do anything, and then you can actually just kill them, like you did.
Yeah.
Like you understand the angles on Sion or Mundo.
Yeah,
Fine, the
my
champions
issue
or
is,
whatever.
yeah, I understand the actual fighting of the game very well. Like the thing that I am by far the best at is just direct champion on champion combat.
Yeah.
And I've focused so much on that I've just completely neglected to learn about, things like global wave management, like things like these more complex concepts.
Yeah, I think the
yeah.
initial main thing is that I'm telling you things like play around the win condition or whatever, but I think that you just don't understand the different types of win conditions, and so I think I need to go more specific about the actual ways to win these games. And
Yes,
so,
I'd really, yeah, that'd be good.
So the first thing is we'll talk about playing from behind since that's what both those things are, like both these games represent. So when we're behind and you're playing and you have like someone, your team is winning but you're losing, the goal is essentially to in some way either facilitate the person who's strong on your team or make the person on the enemy team who's strong have like a hard time. So that's the first thing. I'll write this down and then we'll go into more specifics about that. But basically when we are behind and our teammates are ahead or even, we want to either facilitate our carry or make enemy carry a game hard. And then the more specifics about that are like you need to make your timers proper for when you're doing this. So with hex gates, you can't die 25 seconds before because then he's going to hex gate after killing you and that's a 5v4. You need his timing to be like 10-5 seconds. You need to play that game of like that mouse with him. If you do have your flash up, you can be a bit more aggressive trying to just get him to stay, and your main goal is to stop his recall, like at the Jace I'm kind of talking about in this scenario, or even Darius and other whatever. And the goal is then, again, once say 10 seconds are up, then you start using all of your tools to stall time in that way. Or again, in the team fight, going up with the Kazakhs, you needed to realize, again, you're not thinking about the perspective of someone else, which is the way the style you're playing, you have to think about how everyone else is playing. If you're playing like Jace, you can think about only yourself. But the style you're playing, you need to understand that Kazakhs, what he's thinking right now is, oh my god, my teammates are so goddamn stupid, they won't even walk up and give me vision right now. Why won't they give me vision? I can one-shot everyone. So if you just walked up and used yourself as a ward that's going to not die, it's fine. So I think that's understood, right, in terms of how to play in those scenarios? Or is there questions?
Right, so in a situation like that, like, because I should always make an attempt to go for the engage. If my jungle's there, if he's fed, I should always try to go in, even if that might just result in me being killed and nothing coming of it.
I mean, sort of.
No, that's because if I'm trying to think, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I should have been ahead of jungle. I should have utilized the tools that I had at my disposal for that fight instead of just standing back and playing passive, because I did have the ability to tank damage and I did have the ability to get my jungle vision of that area, as well as, potentially wasting some enemy summoners. And I just chose to stay back and wait for them to make a move. I should have been proactive there.
Yeah,
I should have been.
It's the awareness of the objective timer that really lets us understand when we have to make those plays. And then your teammate wants to walk up in that position and he can potentially kill. So your only goal is to stall time and waste cooldowns, and then hope he notices the cooldowns are gone. So yeah, definitely that. And then for the lane phase, you just need to understand, again, we talk about it every single time and you made the same mistake.
Yes, and I apologize. It's not intentional.
I don't care, bro. Like, it ain't my elo, it's you're not. So I don't care. You're giving me money. If you're gonna use the time well or not, you know, that's up to you. That you do what you do. But either way, again, the main thing is just be aware of champion strengths. Like, again, think about what they want to do. It's the same thing in different scenarios every time with you. You're not thinking about what your teammates want. You're not thinking about what the enemy want. And in this scenario, for example, and again, I know the Jace matchup very well because it's my most played champion in the game.
Yeah.
But like the way that you're playing into any poke lane, this would be the same into Vayne. It would be the same into any top range top laner or any early game top laner, even a Riven, whatever. The power spike for you is once you get to a point where you have a certain amount of like defensive power that they can't easily kill you. For that, that's usually steel caps. And so being in a position where you can recall for steel caps makes the most sense. But you were taking so much unneeded poke. And he's like you're taking unneeded poke before the wave that matters, because essentially I think it's usually going to be based on the fact you're bleeding gold, probably the fourth wave. If you're getting a good amount of CS, it'll be the third wave. And once you clear the third/fourth wave, you can recall for those boots. And so the time where you can start taking unneeded poke or extra poke is to give yourself positioning on third or fourth wave to clear it quicker, because you want to clear it as quick as you can as it reaches mid lane, or the mid way, like the mid part of the lane. Because then that gives you the most time before the next wave comes so that he can't punish. Whereas the way you did it, you got stalled for a really long time, and you recalled as the wave is already, like, the next one's coming. He's then able to get like great plates. He gets a really big gold advantage, and that's sort of how he wants to play. So again, from his perspective, he wants to get a really big lead on the first couple levels. From your perspective, you want to do everything you can to make the early game go as fine as possible. And so that means that you have to be aware of what specific waves you need to clear in order to then take a recall. And on the waves that don't actually matter for you, you need to not greed a random CS or anything like that, because that doesn't really matter for the grand scheme of things.
I was just about to ask. So I need to deprioritize CS, because I think that my issue, looking back on it, all of the times that I have gone in without properly respecting the enemy champion, without taking into consideration like where they were at with their power, was I was thinking, oh, I need to get this last hit. Like, I need to last hit to equalize the CS. But I should accept that I'm going to lose a certain amount of last hits into matchups like Jace. And as long as I'm able to get my threshold for boots and recall in the fourth wave, then it doesn't necessarily matter. Yeah. Okay. I see. That makes sense. I hadn't thought about it that way before. Like, I'd always just thought I needed to equalize the CS, even if that meant trading down HP.
Yeah. I mean, so the champions that I play the most are all early game champions. Like, I play Renekton and Jason top lane. And the way that I'm always like annoyed is when I get put in a position where like he won't ever walk up at me or let me do anything, and then the way that then I'll respond to that, because obviously now, like, with enough experience I can respond to that in a different way, is that I'll start utilizing that push to then get vision and make plays on other parts of the map, like, and then I'll try to like stop his back on the timers he wants. Then I'll try to get, because I'm going to get that extra gold, I'm going to take a recall a wave earlier, because I know he wants to recall usually fourth wave if he's missing, if I deny him some gold. And so then I can recall third wave, I get my boots, and then I'm on a boot spike when he hasn't yet hit boots, because he has to take an additional wave. And then he usually gets stuck trying to push the wave as I'm telling you to push. Like, he'll be first on the fourth wave because I took a recall, but he's not able to push it quick enough. And so then I get to stop his back, and then I have that advantage. So basically, that's like the next level of it, where that you'll get punished by a sovereign level player, but you're not going to get punished by a lower level player by that. But that's sort of the additional like mindset that goes into the early game champ versus late game champ thing. And so any way you can find to avoid that. Like, do you have questions about that? Does that make sense? Or
it does make sense. Yeah, it's definitely thankfully a concept. Thankfully, or for me at least, a concept that doesn't come up too much in my games. If I do end up falling behind, generally the enemy will focus on hard committing to lane. They generally won't try to roam and play make. Yeah, and that's good. But that's
the thing you need to understand for the times that you do play someone, or for the times when you get a lead, because you're still going to get a lead sometimes on Sion or Mundo. And so
and when I do get a lead,
that as well. But
how about how about I send you a replay of a game earlier where I got a lead, because I definitely feel that in games where I do get a lead early, I'm probably not properly utilizing it as well as I can.
I mean, it has already been 2 hours, right? So I'm not going to probably go into another entire replay.
You're right. I didn't even realize. Yeah, no, that's completely valid.
That's okay. I'm fine with talking for a little longer about these specific things, but I'm not going to go and do another replay. If you want to later, I feel like we have a lot of stuff currently that you can work on, and so if you want in the future, once you feel, because you've talked about this for various roles now, so I think it's pretty good for you to have an understanding of various roles because of the way that you're playing, like the style of champs you play. But yeah, we can go into specifics of other stuff like that later. I guess we can have this be more of a focus on a lot of times playing for behind. But then again,
Yeah.
these early game lane things that you do will then allow you to not be behind as much, and then we can
Yeah.
understand how to play from like from a better spot once we get in that position more, because then you actually have replays that represent that. But we can still
Yeah.
talk a little bit about playing from like ahead or even if you want to, obviously as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I'll just give you a hypothetical because
Yeah.
I can think of situations like from previous games. So say I'll give you one that's I find occasionally. Say I'm against an enemy and I'm able to successfully get a kill on them level 1 without them getting a kill on me. And this is
Yeah,
through execute flash play. It's something that I would say maybe 1 out of 5 games, I will see an angle in draft where I'll recognize, hey, this is an enemy that actually cannot outrun me. Like, for example, if I'm up against something like a Draven top, there is physically
Yeah.
no way for him to escape it unless he starts with his knockup, but generally he'll start
Yeah,
with his
Of
axes.
course he would.
So if I have a situation where I have first blood kill and I just and then I come back to base, I have an extra 500 gold, what should I do from there? Because at that point I am 500 gold up, I have the ability to get 2 items. What should I be prioritizing and how should I snowball that?
So
Let's just say
Yeah.
hypothetically.
Hypothetically what? Or is that the hypothetical?
No, sorry. I was trying to think if I should choose like a specific matchup, but let's just say generally speaking,
That's
if I
fine,
am
yeah.
ahead, yeah.
Yeah, so you will get a 450 gold kill, and then most likely you're getting the entire wave, right? Like afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're
Yeah.
getting 450 gold plus, right? Like you'll probably have 700 gold say on that recall, and then depending on when the kill occurred, you might be able to be getting the second wave. If you get the second wave, you're hitting boots, and so then
Unfortunately,
boots,
I'm never able to get the second wave.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
silent thing. There's a timing
And if
to
you're
it.
not able to get the second wave, then we're taking a recall. This isn't our power spike yet, which is what we have to understand. So you're getting ahead against an early game champion as a late game champion. And so the difference is when I get ahead on Jace, my power spike is immediately hit because I'm hitting my boots now, and then now I have crazy damage spike. But if you're building Heartsteel, which you probably are, right? Most of the time.
Yeah, generally.
You're getting like with a Kindle Jump thing or something. It doesn't really matter the specific component you're building stuff.
It's all pure HP. Building into Heartsteel
or whatever.
is
So
500 gold equals
exactly. So that doesn't really matter
yeah.
because think about it, right? He's still able to poke you. He just has to hit you with like 3 more autos, but you're never
You're
able to really hit him if he's not awful. Sometimes he'll be awful, and if you find more killing, it'll just go for him, whatever. But in a situation where he plays like a normal human, that's not your spike yet because you're still not really getting anything strong. Your first
that
real
makes sense.
spike,
Yeah.
Your first
Whenever
real
that
spike
happens,
would be Heartsteel. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I can, with you having said that, I can recognize that in some games where I have gotten ahead, I've had the mindset of, oh, now that I have this, I can carry, like this is gonna be a win. I'll get very confident. And I need to just look at it from a logical perspective and recognize that I am still just a Sion with 2 giant spells as opposed to 1. This is still a champion that ultimately can kill me.
Yeah.
And I should be waiting for my actual item spike to start playing more aggressively.
Or the other thing is jungle is the other thing. So say that you do get that lead, it means that you can be more aggressive on a wave without dying. And so what this allows you to potentially do is say that you, which again, jungle tracking is something we should keep in mind, say that you had an idea that enemy jungle's opposite side and your jungle is pathing towards you. In this scenario, you can try to ping for a dive, and then you can get the first wave, right, will meet. You get control over that wave because you still do have the advantage. You probably use the bush to get control over the wave, and he's still going to be a little bit scared. And then you wait for the second wave that's coming. Once that wave's building up, if you're able to set it up properly and use your health to make sure he's not focusing the wave too much, you can build up like a 5-6 minion wave. And then you have that wave crashing. You probably hitting your ultimate as you clear that whole wave, where he's probably level 4, you're probably level 5 based at this point. And then your jungler's coming level 5 to gank you. Now this means your jungler has to gank you, which doesn't happen always, but you ping it. Again, you don't ping enough, so I'm also just going to quickly write that, ping more. But if you do ping it...
Context, I will say pinging is one thing that I do more. I was focused more on my interactions.
But irrelevant anyway. The broader point is that we're crashing this wave, and then best case scenario, you're getting a dive on him if your jungle comes. The worst case scenario is you're recalling with another better item because you're probably hitting another 500 gold from that at that point, maybe slightly more. And so now you're going to recall, you get an extra component. Not a big deal still because we're not on Heartsteel. But what it does mean is that now he has 2 options. He either recalls after he clears that wave, which means you're coming back to lane, and then you get to get that next wave as well. And he's recalled, he's walking back. Or, and then in that scenario, if he does all that, you either get a turret plate or you start warding enemy jungle camps, because now you know the jungle is going to come back to you in this scenario because of now your jungler is going away, their jungler is coming, and so you get a jungle camp ward. You maybe find an angle to go mid, you maybe just continue to play around. All that matters is you're setting it up to the point that you can get to your Heartsteel spike. So that's why, as long as you just have the defensive ward, that's enough. And then if he does stay, you have an even bigger item spike already. So again, the gold spent is what matters, not the gold actually like in your pocket.
Yeah, so I need to think of the early game more as a setup phase rather than I should focus on preparing the game for a situation where I can get Heartsteel. Sorry, let me reword that. I should focus on playing things more slowly and not just running at the wave, not trying to get all the last hits, but instead thinking more logically. Yeah.
And again, there's the two parts of it is like the concept is, again, understanding power spikes and understanding champion strengths, and that has been applicable to all four of these champions, all three of these roles in various ways. And so that is not the hardest thing to understand, but that's the first thing that I want you to think about. Is every game I want, like, that's going to be the main point, and so we can even just write that here. Main point always think about is power spikes and champion strengths / win conditions. This is like the broad thing that I want you to think about, and then most of these points apply in a more specific scenario on how this is actually being a realistic like thing. And so some of these things we specifically talked about, now you'll have a better understanding of how you can play in that situation. So even I would say, like, if you have these notes up, like, you can just copy paste and put them in a different place maybe that you can see, or however you do it, whatever. As you go into a game, identify what the possible scenarios are that could occur that may be something we talked about. Say that you are against a Draven, then you go in and you're like, okay, I want to see if I can really make that thing happen. So that's going to be the one thing I think about, and then I'm going to think about the broader point of this. And so those are the only two things you think about in that scenario. Or if it's something that we haven't talked about, again, that's something you could write down if you want to do a future session later, but it's also just something that you can then start critically thinking about, because the thought process I'm talking about isn't the hardest thing ever to do. Just think about what does he actually want to do from his perspective, how is he thinking about the game, and you can do that right after the game occurs, because it's hard to think about sometimes during the game. Then try to theory craft ways that you can approach the game to make that kind of easier.
Yeah, I just need to be more present and aware of what my enemy is doing and what they want, like what they're working towards, what they are trying to accomplish, and then what I'm trying to accomplish. And I need to match the timings in a way that I have my power spike when they don't, or I'm able to get my power spike and then get an advantage. Like it,
Yeah, and then
that makes sense. I need to be
You have something else you can finish first, but
I think that I've been focusing too much on. That's what I'm looking for. I've been focusing too much on just trading down with the enemies, like whether it was a good matchup or not. That's just what I default to. Like I will trade health for last hits, and I've just been continuing to do that over and over. And I recognize now that that's I recognize that I need to, like, if I'm behind, I need to be willing to give up last hits, and if I'm ahead, I need to not go in too deep. I need to not actively try to look for something when I don't have my proper power spike.
Yeah, well, again, though, the thing, and that's usually right, the thing is that that's too general, and that's a problem with how you approach everything, is that you're always doing what's generally applicable. For example, what you just said doesn't apply if you are Sion versus Mundo, because Mundo can get a gold lead on you. You don't really care. Him having an extra 1,000 gold, sure, it's not ideal, we don't want it, but like, you can trade health for waves into Sion or into Mundo as Sion, because he's probably not going to realistically kill you, most likely, and then you're going to get that, like, you use your health to then push the wave, have the prio, and then get the recall. But if you do that into a Darius, he's going to solo kill you. Like, it's more about, again, the more specific scenarios and having the general broader points. Like, you're right about the broad thing, and then we need to be able to, like, generalize less when we're playing and think about the more specific scenario. And I was going to say something else. I'm trying to think specifically what it was.
Yeah, I actually have one thing that I want to bring the conversation to,
Go ahead.
and that is general. So that when I'm on a tank, when I'm top, that's the general macro surrounding objectives. So because what you've told me to do is different than like what I normally do, which I now see is probably wrong. I normally will like push out lane as far as I can and then run to the objective and just try to fight and scrap it out. But what I should be doing is I should be like getting as much. Like if I'm ahead, getting an advantage on the opposing side of the map, or like, let me reword that. I should be playing more around the waves and less about just general fighting. I should be
Yeah.
focusing on keeping our waves pushed, especially when objectives are about to spawn.
Yeah.
And if I'm behind, I need to focus on keeping the enemy carry away from my team for as long as possible. I need to keep them
and that's
distracted, and I
keeping them
need to
away,
keep them
whether that
isolated.
means going to the team fight
Yeah.
or staying on the side lane. But we've talked
Yeah.
about how to set up for objectives when you're behind. So like you have a relatively decent understanding of that from what we've said.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, generally speaking, especially when you're not behind as much as you are, there's two things that you're gonna want that you'll be able to determine through various factors. You're either gonna want to be in the team fight, say that you're really strong and you're a team fighting champion. You could
Yeah.
be a strong Mundo, strong Sion, and you want to go to the fight, or say
Yeah.
you're so strong, but like everyone else is so weak, you know you're gonna lose a team fight anyway. This is the
Yeah.
main thing I've been
Yeah.
working on this season that I like didn't realize before, and that's when I'm really fed on like Renekton. But the enemy team comp are not people who I can just all kill. Like they have too much
Yeah.
mobility, too much everything, and my team is all losing. I know the only way I win is say like a 1v2 on side lane, and that's a very
Yeah.
similar scenario you can be in Sion. You could be ahead on Sion, your team's behind, and then your only way
Yeah.
of winning is through perma side laning. And so
Yeah, that's how I win a lot of my games. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
I really am. My performance today was especially poor. I think that I was likely a little nervous
Yeah, no,
from
that's
being
fine. It's more
involved,
about
but yeah,
fighting the general things anyways. Which
yeah,
is
but yes,
again, I still wanted I had a larger thing I was gonna say in regards to what I was getting at, and that's
Yeah.
the overall goal is either I want to go to the team fight or I want to side lane. And so then
Yeah.
if you want to go to the team fight, all that matters is that the wave is pushing, say roughly 35 seconds before the objective. As long as
Okay.
it's not like a Jax or something, it doesn't matter if they then go and match that wave now. You can give up that one wave because they're not. By the time that wave actually reaches your tower, it'll be like 5 seconds before the objective spawns because you had it initially pushing. Like say you pushed it to the point where there's 5 minions on your side, only 4 on there, so it'll slowly push, and they have to
Yeah.
respond to it. And then you use that time to first get to the objective, and then make a player on the objective or get vision around it, and then be in the team fight. And then if your goal is to side lane, then it's about finding that timer, like I told you, say 15 seconds before the objective spawning. That's when you start actually going really aggressive. You're setting up your wave by a slow push until then, and then once we have that point. So that's like the main thing is you have to first identify, do you want to rotate, do you want to not rotate, and then through that you have those different ways of setting it up. And then the last thing I'll say as well, before you go, if you have more questions, go ahead and ask them. But like the first thing or the last thing I want to make sure I mention is that if you've hit Challenger before and you're now like stuck in Master at the moment, I assume you're not caring that much. Obviously, you want to reach Challenger again. I'd assume the general thing is that
it was actually it was so long ago that it was Grandmaster because back then Challenger threshold was a lot
it was
higher.
60 marks.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Yes,
but
I
like,
was you know.
Yeah, so you
Go
want
on.
to hit Challenger, so that's probably the goal. Okay, so
Yeah,
like, the thing
realistically.
is, you're realistically not going to probably hit Challenger this season from Master to
Oh
Challenger.
yeah, no, I don't expect to, but I want to build up the foundation.
Yeah,
and, I want
and that's
to,
the point, is that you
work
need to
towards
continue
it.
to dive into all of these niche scenarios that will occur, that all apply to the general, thing about actually understanding different win conditions. And so every time that you identify a new way to play into certain matchups or a certain type of champion, like an early game champ, a late game champ, when you're ahead, when you're behind, when your team is behind, but you're ahead, vice versa, whatever, that is where the value comes in, because eventually that builds up enough to the point where, say, all of these concepts that you improve probably improves your win rate by like 0.5%, and maybe eventually it goes from 52 or whatever it is to 55, 58.
Yeah.
And like that's
Let me
really
know-
the overall goal, which probably takes 2 or 3 seasons realistically to then get to like Chow.
Let me know if this is an example of that. So, like a specific niche interaction I found is if the enemy top has a Mordekaiser, and like for example, I pick Sion and they counterpick Mordekaiser because it generally is a counter.
Yeah.
That's one of the only champions in the game where top I will take phase rush into it because I actually have the ability. If I don't fight him at all, if I focus entirely on just clearing the wave, I'm able to get to the point where I can always escape him and always outrun him. Is that like a good example of what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Of finding
that's
like
a random thing.
yeah.
That's a more specific, because it's a champion matchup specific thing.
Yeah.
And those are good to find too, but they're probably instead of 0.5, say 0.1% or whatever. But
Yeah.
Mordekaiser's for a long time has been like the most picked top lane champion. Like I play him all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, when you find especially those ways to play into really popular matchups, those are definitely big things. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I see what you mean, but it's still better. Yeah.
Yeah, all of the it's every
Yeah, I want to say just
optimization, because the difference between Grandmaster or whatever and like Challenger Sovereign is mostly like optimizations. It's not as much like super large concepts.
thank you for taking the extra time out of your day to give me an explanation on these topics. I did include a tip for you just for the extra time because we've been talking for a bit.
Right, no, I appreciate it. It
will.
was pretty
Yeah.
fun. I mean, I can see the way you kind of think about the
No,
game is more
I
enjoyable.
can
and more
imagine that
fun.
I'm not. I'm probably not the type of player that you typically coach, and I probably have different issues than a lower ranked player would. But yeah,
Yeah, it
I'm
was
gonna
pretty
work
cool
on
to talk.
incorporating all those things.
Of course. And then if that's it, if you don't have other questions, I hope good luck with all that.
Let me think if I have anything else before we go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I think that we actually have covered everything. Thank you so much.
All right.
I'm gonna
cool.
be working on incorporating what you've taught me, and I'm gonna go, concept by concept, step by step in each game, and I'm not gonna try to incorporate everything at once. I'm gonna, like, for example, one game I'm going to focus entirely on utilizing the bushes in my lane, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
focus on my positioning there, and I'm going to do that until I get to the point where that's just natural, and then I'm gonna utilize the bushes in my lane as well as I had an example, but I forgot it. But anyways, like layering them on top of each other over
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you very
Yeah,
much. It was